Even get benefits like $0 copays on routine prescriptions, plus routine dental, vision, or hearing coverage. All of this could make a difference for your health and wallet. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a coordinated care HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal. Allowance amounts cannot be combined with other benefit allowances. Limitations and restrictions may apply.
Beck Toyota has been sold to the Hubler Automotive Group, and this is your best chance to save before the grand opening of Hubler Toyota. Choose from Camrys, Corollas, Highlanders, Tundras, and more. Lease a new 2025 Toyota RAV4, just $349 per month, or a new Tacoma, $299 per month. So if you've been turned away due to the crowds, come back. This is your best chance to save before the grand opening of Hubler Toyota. Don't miss it on US 31 South in Indianapolis, across from Hubler Chevrolet. Visit HublerToyota.com. New RAV4s, $349 per month, or new Tacomas, $299 per month. All offers end June 30th. Select models, approved credit, plus tax tag title license, $199 dealer doc, RAV4 model 4432, Tacoma model 7540, 36 months, $29.99 due, zero security, 10,000 annual miles, 15 cents per mile thereafter.
Grit, hard work, training, professionalism, and being ready at a moment's notice. That's what we stand for at Fire Dogs Junk Removal, because we were founded by firefighters. When it's time to clear out clutter, big or small, we've got you covered. From old furniture to hot tubs and even entire decks, our team handles it all. Call Fire Dogs Junk Removal today at 1-800-211-DOG or book online at firedogs.com. Fire Dogs Junk Removal, your local team, ready to answer the call.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, the Indiana Pacers getting it done, who came up big in the Game 6 win at home last night over the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Fever off to a rough start on their West Coast road trip. How a child died Thursday on Indy's north side, and how fast you'll be able to go now driving on I-465 soon. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 9 o'clock.
Iran is ready to talk. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what an official tells Reuters, that they are willing to discuss limitations on uranium enrichment. President Trump keeps insisting they give it up, saying he won't allow Iran to build nuclear weapons.
And he is this afternoon going to be sitting down, meeting with his National Security Council, as he will continue to do so throughout the weekend. This is as this timeline has been set, this 2 weeks for Iran to opt for a diplomatic route, an off-ramp out of this whole thing.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff at the White House. That conflict is a week old now.
The Israeli military says their fighter jets are back in the air right now over central and western Iran, striking targets.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv.
The head of the International Atomic Agency spoke exclusively to Fox News. He said Iran had enough uranium for several bombs and was just a quick step away from enriching to weapons grade. However, he says Iran had not begun the final steps to make a bomb.
Iran launched more missiles at Israel, and one got through the Iron Dome defense and did damage, but no one was hurt. Hundreds of Americans who were stuck in Israel have gotten out, and they won't miss the missiles.
It'd be like at 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the morning, and you just have to go straight to the bomb shelters. And you have to hide because then all you can hear is just boom, boom, boom.
A second flight chartered by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis landed this morning. The National Guard troops President Trump deployed to Los Angeles can stay after an appeals court ruled, and he called a great decision on Truth Social, that the president was within his authority to federalize those troops to deal with protests against his illegal immigration raids. California's Democratic governor says he'll keep challenging the deployment. Another ruling went against the president.
U.S. District Judge John McConnell is siding with 20 states who sued the Trump administration over requirements that they cooperate with ICE in exchange for billions of dollars in funding for roads, airports, and other infrastructure. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy had warned in April that his department may cut off the congressionally appropriated grants.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Arguably the two best words in sports. Sunny, 71 in downtown Indy. We're under a heat advisory today as well. We'll reach a high of 85. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:02. The Indiana Pacers dominating Game 6.
Halliburton attacks, kicking to Neesmith. Open man in the corner. Nembhard bounces once and hits another three.
That's Mark Boyle on the Elevance Health Radio Network, and that was the moment the Pacers took the lead following a slow start to the game, and they didn't look back. Indiana beats OKC 108-91 to force a Game 7 in the NBA Finals.
One game. This is what it's all about. I mean, it's a very difficult place to play. We know that. You know, this is the opportunity to play in a game like this is a great honor and a great privilege.
Head coach Rick Carlisle talking about now the team heading to Oklahoma City, where there will be a Game 7. It all comes down Sunday night. It'll be the first time in 9 years that the NBA Finals has seen a Game 7. IMPD officers say a child died from what was likely an accidental shooting in a car at a CVS store on Indy's North Side Thursday. Police responded to the drugstore near the intersection of 46th Street and Keystone Avenue just before 3 o'clock. They found the troopers found the toddler with a gunshot wound and immediately started applying medical aid. The young boy was taken to Riley Children's Hospital, where he later died.
This is very heart-wrenching whenever our officers and or community have to respond to a person shot, let alone a juvenile or a child.
Sergeant William Young speaking with reporters at the scene of the shooting. Investigators say it may have also been self-inflicted. Officers are not searching for a suspect at this time and say all parties are accounted for. An Indianapolis man is convicted for pointing a firearm at two teenage girls in Greenwood 2 years ago. Roger Reed was found guilty of pointing a firearm and operating a vehicle while intoxicated. He faces up to 2.5 years for the felony conviction and an additional 180 days for the misdemeanor charged. He's scheduled to receive his full sentence in August. The statewide average for gas today, $3.12 per gallon, according to Gas Buddy. In Indianapolis, it's $3.07. The cheapest gas in the state is in Evansville at $2.87. And 465 is upping the speed limit. Starting July 1st, you'll be able to go 65 miles per hour on the interstate. The speed limit raised from 55 miles per hour thanks to House Enrolled Act 1461, which passed during the recent legislative session. Now with traffic on the 5s, good morning, Matt Bear.
What's happening, Jarrett? Looking at southbound 65 stop and go traffic. North split to the south split, 3-minute delay. Northbound 65 slows, 465 to the south split. That is a construction zone, delayed by 3 minutes. Traffic sponsored by Rocket. Rocket.com is a single, seamless home ownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, and even refinance your home. Get started today at Rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Big Joe here for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical.
If your air conditioner is barely hanging on, don't wait for it to fail in a heat wave. Upgrade now with a new energy-efficient system from B&W. Join thousands of Hoosiers who trust us to keep their families cool and comfortable. Get a free estimate today at bplusw.com or call 317-214-0108.
B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard dealer since 1961.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Diamond Engagement Ring Store.
Now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Partly cloudy skies, warmer, a bit more humid today. High of 86 this afternoon. Partly cloudy, quiet, and muggy overnight, a low of 70. I'm Wish TV storm tracking meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Kendall Casey starts now.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
You know, Casey.
What's that, Rob?
And I hate to jump the gun on this.
Okay.
But I'm beginning to think Diego is never actually going to show me proof that he paid that money back.
Really? You don't think that's going to happen?
And as he said numerous times during our spirited back and forth, it has been 1 week, if you're keeping track, since Diego Morales did the show me yours, I'll show you mine bit, where he said that he would, this is the weirdest thing. I've been in media for almost 24 years now. And it is the weirdest thing I've ever heard for a statewide elected official to say, I will give you transparency on what I did in my official capacity as a statewide elected official if you show me your paycheck. When you say it out loud, Casey.
Right. It sounds even weirder.
But that was the deal that we made.
He thought he was going to stump you.
And I accepted. And then we sent the email to his communications director, who acknowledged on Monday she had received because I said, look, I've accepted this request. Let me know what the terms are. Then we can discuss it. And we can get this taken care of. And she responded and said, I'll get back to you. And it is now Friday, and no one has gotten back to us.
Maybe she's just trying to hook up with her boss to find the right date and time. But, according to him, he's off traveling around all 92 counties like it's a race.
Well, I know.
So she's just having a hard time communicating with him and locking down a date.
I know where he was Wednesday. He was appearing in front of the budget committee.
This is true.
Because he wants money.
He was facing a lot of scrutiny, about what's going on in his office.
So the state budget committee, this is a makeup of the House and the Senate, Democrats and Republicans, had a hearing involving the Secretary of State, which he showed up for, along with his chief counsel. And I believe he was asking for more money. It's always money with this guy.
Yeah,
he's never asking for less money. He's always asking for more money.
Requesting over $10 million in budget changes.
So the budget committee said, hey, that's a lot of money. There always seems to be some sort of issue with you and money. Why don't you come on in and let's have a conversation about this?
Yeah, $8.1 million that he's asking for is earmarked for IT.
And wasn't there some issue?
Also personnel.
Wasn't there some issue with IT and the no bid contract skis?
Yes.
That then a bunch of money ended up in his campaign coffers from the people that he gave the no bid contracts to?
Correct.
Okay, so these lawmakers are very clearly done with him, as all of society should be done with Diego, because at this point, this behavior is totally unacceptable. It's bizarre. It's totally unacceptable. And the fact that he has been allowed to operate like this for this amount of time is a total failure by our elected officials at 200 West Washington Street to grow a pair, to get some stones, and say, we're done with this. You're going to cut the crap. You're going to start acting like a normal professional person, or we're cutting off all your money. I mean, that's the answer.
Well, and his defense is that he's running around the state. He's visiting all 92 counties, and that he gets up and he's at the State House at 5 a.m. So he's trying to lean into this, I'm a hard worker, I'm an outsider. That's his narrative, while he's sidestepping some key questions about favoritism, transparency, and also fiscal responsibility.
Yeah, your job as a Secretary of State is to administer the will of the General Assembly. That's it. You don't make policy. You don't write policy. You shouldn't, if you're operating in an above-board fashion, have the ability to cut any deals or speak with any semblance of authority. Your job is to administer the will of the lawmakers and what they pass. And this guy being Diego Morales, repeatedly finds himself in positions and controversies related to things that have nothing to do with his job whatsoever.
Yeah.
Whether it's economic development or agriculture. And again, the failure rests in the Indiana General Assembly, who control his money, who could choke it off at any time, for not holding him to account and forcing him to just simply do his job.
Yeah, he's going to need more than I show up at 5 a.m. and his mileage stats. He's going to need trust of the people if he wants to keep his seat in 2026. And right now, his own party is even starting to turn against it.
Well, and you don't get any points for going to these counties because it's a glorified campaign trip. It's a taxpayer-funded campaign trip. Let's just call these, I visit all 92 counties. When these lawmakers do this, It's a taxpayer-funded campaign trip. They're going, it's a photo op. They're meeting with local movers and shakers and other government officials. And in the case of Diego, these are a lot of people who are going to end up being delegates or being able to influence delegates at the convention next year. Nobody actually believes that just pick your favorite county of, 30,000 people or less, that Diego is super concerned about what's going on with voting there. Nobody believes that for a second. It's why when he brought the big checks, remember his name was on how outrageous that was, as though he was paying the money and not the taxpayers of this state when he's handing out these checks to these communities.
It's like he's running the Secretary of State's office like his own personal brand campaign.
Sure he is.
That's what it is. With the maps, the maps of Indiana that have his name right on the front.
So next hour, our pal, Stephen Whitmer from Indy Reporter, which is the hottest, most interesting, most informative account right now covering Indiana politics and government, at Indy_reporter_. Follow it. You'll learn a lot every single day about these dirt balls that represent you and the work they're doing over there. He's going to dig into this. He has been digging into this India trip, and he will be with us to talk a little bit about this venture capital guy that made the trip along with Raju and Diego, and we'll try to figure out what that has to do with the Secretary of State. But we do have some audio. So Fatty Kadora is a senator from, I believe, Indianapolis.
Correct.
And he was none too pleased with old Tiptoe Diego and his job performance.
The fact that you're traveling overseas in your capacity as a Secretary of State, not United States Secretary of State, not the Secretary of State of IEDC, but mixing pleasure or personal and business at a time of state official budget meetings is extremely disappointing. I think in most professional places, if you miss one of the most important meetings, whether it's a job interview or your budget that's going to impact your staff and the mission of your office, it's an easy judgment call. I don't care if it was scheduled, the conference was scheduled 5 months ago, I'm sorry, I cancel. Then things got worse from there. Some individuals that you're contracted with, that orchestrate some of the relationships in India, had ties with the IEDC, are promoting on their social media that they are selling business visas for folks. It complicated things. Then the vehicle thing came about. Then in that budget meeting that you missed, we had questions about hiring family members in your office. We talked about $15,000 bonuses to some individuals that are related to you, or maybe one person specifically.
He's right. When it's one thing, you can explain it away and go, I made a mistake, or, that's it. It's just continual stuff with this guy. It's just one thing after another.
And then. But good for Fatty Kadora for calling him out.
Now, one other clip we wanted to play. This is Chris Garton. Now, Chris Garton is also a senator. He is a Republican. Fatty Kadora, who we just played, was a Democrat. Now, everybody that is aware of what's going on knows that Garton sees himself being the next lieutenant governor. Micah, he's coming for your job. He'll probably get it before your term's done because of the way you're acting and your behavior. Everybody knows that he's gunning to raise his profile. So let's not kid each other when we talk about these guys like Garton have known for years what Diego is. These guys know exactly how he's operating, and they've done nothing until now.
Right.
So a shame on them.
So what, Garton's acting like a vulture just to elevate his own profile?
Sure. Absolutely. So let's preface by saying this guy has had numerous opportunities to show the outrage or the ire that you're going to hear here. He has not done that, and there's a reason for that. But the fact that he's doing it now and is willing to actually point out some of the egregious behavior, and listen to this back and forth between him and Diego not wanting to come off the no bid contracts, or talking about the no bid contracts and how that money ended up in his campaign coffers. Money ended up in his campaign coffers from the people he gave the no bid contracts to.
I just want to be on the record as saying you have a vehicle that costs almost twice as much, that is paid by taxpayer dollars, that costs almost twice as much as the average salary of a Hoosier. I think we need to pay attention to optics, and that's not just specific to your office too. So I just want to be on record as stating that. In the past, you've been scrutinized for allegedly prioritizing doing business with individuals and/or companies that have contributed to your campaign. Out of the funds that we've talked about today specifically, because I want to be respectful of the Budget Committee platform, so not outside of these other funds, we can talk about that at some other time. But is there anybody on these expenditure lists that have contributed, or companies that have contributed financially to your campaign?
A lot of people contribute to my campaign, from people who believe on election integrity, from people who believe...
Hold on, Mr. Secretary, respectfully, there's 3 funds on here. That's not a lot of line items. It's a yes or no, and we can identify who they are. I think Indiana Hoosiers deserve to know that. You've been scrutinized for that in the past. I think we both have constituents that it would be in their best interest.
If we have people who donated to my campaign, and I'd be more than gladly to accept their campaign if you want me to be successful.
Out of the 3 funds that, there's 4 funds, but I don't think one of the funds specific. I think it deals with individuals that wouldn't be in this case, I believe. Out of the 3 funds that we've talked about here, I would like them to be identified.
Maybe I can give part of the answer.
No, this is his legal
we're
counsel.
not familiar with the campaign finance.
That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking the secretary, Jay.
But going forward, we're bidding on these contracts, so we're going to be.
And I'm extremely disappointed that it took legislation to get us there. I want to be very honest about that, because that was part of the legislation and language that I worked on specifically.
Now, does that sound like a guy who's operating in an above-board manner? Does that sound like a guy who's proud of the public knowing what he did? Even his legal counsel trying to come in there and save him. Does that sound like people who are confident in when the public learns of how he's behaved, that the public's going to be like, oh, great job, Diego. You're really looking out for us.
Yeah, so Garton, what he's talking about, starting July 1st, new laws are going to require his office to use competitive bidding for contracts and also restrict luxury vehicles for state officials.
I know we're running long on this, but so our Indy Reporter guys did the research on this, because people might be hearing going, well, what are you talking about, no bid contracts? What do you, da-da-da. Now, this is according to the people at Indy Reporter. We'll have Stephen Whitmer from Indy Reporter on at 10 o'clock today. All right, so this is how it works, according to Indy Reporter. Das Noble is the founder and CEO of MTX Global. February 24, Das Noble gives Diego $10,000. 3 months later, MTX receives $1.8 million taxpayer-funded contract. By the end of last year, Das Noble gave Diego $95,000.
Yep, and now Diego's office is asking for an additional $8.1 million for IT, which is what that company is responsible for. And high five to Fatty Cadora, who actually did ask him at one point who paid for his trip to India. And Diego, of course, answered. The Secretary of State said, I did. And then Diego Morales went on to say, I will not apologize to anyone. I will not apologize to anyone, because my work ethic is unmatched.
Well, hopefully today we'll get some sort of clarity on when we can arrange to get together to exchange these checks, because that's where we're at in our society. All right, very good.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Big, beautiful bill. It's big. It's a bill. We're going to grow this economy. We're going to spend some money. But you got to spend money to make money.
Does anybody trust the government, Republicans or Democrats, to get it right and do that? But if this were Democrats pushing through another $5 trillion, we'd say, what the hell are you doing? If you don't stop the spending, we're going to run out of money.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Denny Smith for Sundown Gardens.
Now listen, don't miss the best sale of the season. 20% off annuals, perennials, container shrubs, and bald and burlap evergreens. And that's not all. Now through June 22nd, get 30% off all pottery and container trees in stock. Come shop for your great selection of high-quality plants ready for your home. Have your home be the talk of the neighborhood and save big at Sundown Gardens now through June 22nd. Sundown Gardens on the corner of 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield.
You ready to build your custom dream home? Check out Joyner Homes based out of Greenfield. See one of their model homes in person anytime. It is a great way for you to experience the customization and quality of a Joyner Homes custom built home. Plus, you can meet with a new home specialist to learn about their building process. Available lots if you don't already have one. Find out about floor plans and where they build. Model homes are open 7 days a week from noon to 5 and walk-ins are welcome. Find out more at joynerhomes.com.
Looking for a cozy spot to relax, work, or grab your coffee to go? LC Coffee House in Noblesville, Indiana has you covered. Try our indulgent affogato, a sweet blend of espresso and ice cream. Or sample our coffee flights to discover your perfect brew. In a rush, our drive-thru is ready to serve you fast and fresh. Need a space to collaborate? We offer meeting rooms perfect for co-working. Whether you're grabbing a quick drink or spending the day with us, LC Coffee House is the place to be.
Hi, it's T. Brian Hayes here from the Retirement Money Matter Show. It is time for our question and answer show for June, and we have many great questions to answer, including one about new RMD rules for this year, another one on how to protect your retirement plan from inflation and higher prices, and another on how to invest retirement dollars in this high-risk market. Find out the answer to these questions and many more on the Retirement Money Matter Show, which airs this Saturday morning at 6 a.m. right here on WIBC.
Summertime's here, so get a hot summertime deal at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get Lincoln's employee pricing on most all new Lincolns. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Navigators. Up to $8,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Come and see why the Roush family has served the community for over 53 years at Tom Roush Lincoln.
Navigator MSRP 105-195. Nautilus MSRP 60-195. 2025 Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
The Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division has over $800 million just waiting to be claimed. Text Tony Katz to 46220 or visit indianaunclaimed.gov to claim yours today.
Buying a diamond has changed. There are mined and lab-grown diamonds. Pierce Jewelers carries both. Pierce can educate you and save your hard-earned money. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
So it's amazing how in all things we become the bad guys, Casey. A Republican member of the Indianapolis City County Council tried to get lippy with us via email last night.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys never learn, Case. That's the worst thing you can possibly do. And I responded, and then he didn't really like my respondence back to him. So we're going to play a little game later on in the program. Maybe next segment we'll get into it, called Who's Getting Paid by Who? And we'll do a deep dive into, because this is a major question, is where are the Marion County Republicans, other than Josh Bain, in calling for Joe Hogsett's resignation? It is the most, even if you believed the behavior was acceptable, even if you believed the Hogsett, Thomas Carl Cook stuff was acceptable, politically, it's the biggest freebie you'll ever have.
Right.
That woman the other day who's a Democrat called for it, and the crowd erupted in applause. And for some reason, other than Josh Bain, the Marion County Republicans on the City County Council, they won't say a word.
Right. Why are they afraid to step up?
So you wanted to get lippy, Michael Paul Hart. So we'll talk about it a little bit later on in the program.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that was, and then I'm on vacation with my family. Then why did you email us? Go be on vacation with your family. Anyway, that's coming up. What is going on with Braun?
He denied rumors that he's considering a 28 presidential run.
Hey, Ann Casey, I would like to take this moment. I would also like to deny the rumors that I am considering auditioning to be the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts this fall. I'd like to go ahead and just take myself out of the equation.
So as soon as he says, "No, I'm concentrating on being governor and have no interest in that," to me, I immediately think he's definitely running.
Well, so Adam Wren from Politico, he also does a statewide publication called Importantville, had reported that people from Braun's orbit, I guess, were telling him that Braun was pondering, exploring. I forget what the exact word he used, but basically he was considering, logistically looking into running for president. And we're looking at this going, the guy, if you look at his social media, every post, even Happy Father's Day is, fall in a deep hole and forget how to crawl out. I mean, people in his own state hate his guts. How would you run for president? How would, in your mind, how would that even possibly happen?
Well, and he also said he didn't know how that rumor started, how it got out there. Me have no idea. Me don't know.
Let me clue you in, Mr. Governor. Somebody in your orbit put it out there, probably because you wanted it out there.
To test the waters.
But it does go to because like Adam's a good reporter and he gets a lot of scoops, and I cannot imagine he just made that up. Somebody from his orbit, his being Braun's, clearly came to him and told him that was going on, because look at how Braun's operated. He's an office hopper. It's, I'm on the school board, now I'm a state rep, now I'm a senator, now I'm the governor. Oh, but I'm also an outsider, right? I mean, that's his orbit. It's the next logical thing, or no, not his orbit, but it's his modus operandi. It's how he operates. And clearly, he doesn't like to actually do the work. He doesn't actually want to be successful. He doesn't actually want to put the time into it. He just goes from one thing to the next, and he's just a rich guy who gets bored easy.
Said he's concentrating on being the most entrepreneurial governor in the country, and that they're tackling healthcare, education, and workforce issues. And he wanted to be governor because it's a more effective position than serving in the U.S. Senate. By the way, at 71 years old, Mike Braun is Indiana's oldest governor.
What would Braun even run on? Like, what would he say? Boy, so glad Braun was here for Indiana because we...
Well, in his mind, it's trimming the state budget.
He had to. He has to pass the budget.
Reforming property taxes.
Oh, did he? Did he
reform? This is in his mind.
Oh, I see.
And regulating healthcare.
He would have, again, there is as much chance of me starting Game 7 of the NBA Finals for the Pacers
as him
getting even one delegate, if he ran for
How's
president.
Your three-point shot?
It's better than Braun's ability to run for president. It ain't great, but it's better than his ability to run for president.
It's better than his ability to cut property taxes.
The narcissism of these people, the self-absorption of these people. It is just like they think. Who would possibly want Mike Braun to run for president? Who would be running behind him other than the gravy train brigade people going, yes, yes.
His chief of staff would be on board with that.
Well, that would be, it would be good for the state, though. We would be rid of Braun, but I don't think we're going to get that lucky. All right, so when we come back, are we playing who's getting paid by who? Are we
Yes.
gonna
You want to play that game?
try to figure out why these Marion County Republicans are totally silent on Hogshead's resignation?
Sounds good. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless leg syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 317-516-6861 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. 317-516-6861 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 317-516-6861 for fast, easy, affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinics treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 317-516-6861.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The president's next move on Iran. Sunny, 74 in downtown Indy, will reach a high of 84 today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 9:31. The White House saying Thursday that President Trump will give Tehran until early next month to wind down their nuclear program, or else he will join Israel's war on Iran.
Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu reacting to that, stating that he trusts President Trump's judgment. Also, he feels that Israel is capable of destroying Iran's nuclear threat unilaterally. The U.S., though, is the only nation with possession of a bomb that could reach Iran's nuclear enrichment site for Fordo, which is built deep into the mountainside. Fox News has been told that the White House has no doubt that bunker busters, as they're called, could do the job. A White House official says no options right now have been taken off the table.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff reporting Iran is threatening to strike back at the United States if President Trump launches an attack. They have repeatedly claimed that their nuclear program is only for civilian purposes. More flights are arriving in Tampa, carrying home Florida residents who are stranded in Israel in the middle of the war with Iran. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis calls it the state's duty to help its people. Israeli airspace has been closed since strikes between Israel and Iran began. And a hearing is expected today after an appeals court reversed a federal judge's decision and allowed President Donald Trump to keep control of the National Guard in California while a lawsuit plays out. California Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom pledged to continue with his lawsuit, describing it as an authoritarian use of U.S. military soldiers against citizens. This all over the riots from last week that picked up in L.A. from people mad about ICE raids. And now your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. The Dow is up 187 points to 42,171. S&P 500 also seeing green, up 25 points to 5,980. And the NASDAQ up 113 points, 21,719. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Technology Recyclers is the safe and ethical choice for your computer and electronics recycling. R2 certified, 100% landfill free, guaranteed destruction of data, and absolutely free pickups. Visit tech-recyclers.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So we got this bizarre, manifesto is a strong word, but this bizarre email from the leader of the Marion County Republicans on the Indy City County Council last night, Casey.
Yeah.
And look, people should know by now, we're the wrong group of people to get lippy with about public policy. You want to fight, buddy. You've come to the right place. And it's struck up a back and forth, and so it got me thinking about why the Marion County Republicans, save for Josh Bain, refused to say anything in terms of calling for the resignation of Joe Hogshead, Bob Bosley, etc., over this complete dumpster fire that has been this Thomas Carl Cook saga.
And you're questioning maybe they have their own reasons as why they haven't said anything.
Well, there's no logical reason you wouldn't in one voice. I mean, there's 6 of them, right? There's 25 or 26 members of the council. You have no power whatsoever. This is a total freebie. Nobody even knows you exist. The last woman who called for his resignation as a Democrat got a standing O in the room. Why would you possibly, either you agree with the behavior, which I don't think anybody wants to go on record as saying that, and if you don't, if this level of behavior of the covering up of the Thomas Carl Cook saga, the bizarro text messages to subordinates, the guy disappearing during the riots, the guy clearly having a substance abuse issue of some sort, the guy incapable of managing most facets of his own existence, much less a city. If that's not enough for you to call for Hogshead's resignation,
nothing will be.
Right,
Ever.
what is?
Yeah.
So Michael Paul Hart, who is the leader of the Republicans on the council, sends us this bizarre email last night about how mad he is at us that we said that they weren't speaking out.
Yeah, well, this all stemmed from a conversation that you and I had on Wednesday. He heard this and decided to respond.
And by the way, there are still 5 Republicans who haven't said a word.
Right.
Brian Mowry, Paul Anee, Michael Paul Hart. Where the hell are you people? Why are you not saying anything? 3 Democrats have said he's got to go, but only 1 Republican.
Yep.
Even if we talked about this earlier today, because Abdul's going to join us for the final segment of the show, and we'll get into this. even if you, morally, ethically, whatever, you should say Joe Hogsett's got to go. But even if you didn't believe that, politically, this is the first real opportunity you people, because you're so inept, you Republicans in Marion County have ever had to do any damage to this guy. And they're just sitting there like mutes, saying nothing.
Right.
This is why people say,
no big deal.
That's why people say, what's the point in voting for any of you people?
Yeah.
You don't lead, you don't fight. And by the way, where's this new Marion County GOP chairwoman who we were told was going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread? She's going to lead Marion County Republicans out of the dark ages. I don't even know if this woman is still alive. I haven't heard anything from her. Where are you people?
She's learning where the bathroom is still. So there's another person, Jessica McCormick, indicated that she may call for Hogsett to resign. I'm thinking about it. Let me think about it. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, so any reasonable person would hear that segment and go, we're clearly talking about you guys not saying anything about his resignation.
Right.
Right. Any person with an IQ of 7 or above would hear that, because all we get from the Republicans are these wishy-washy, mealy-mouthed, half-assed statements or whatever. And so this Michael Paul Hart guy sends us this long email about how he has spoken out. I've spoken twice on Hammer and Nigel about the issue. Boy, I hope you didn't strain a muscle doing that. Hosted a press conference and led repeated calls for transparency, public hearings, and full disclosure of evidence. Yeah, and your calls for transparency, public hearings, and full disclosure wasted $500,000, Michael Paul Hart, of taxpayer money, where you got no answers and stuff was omitted and you guys paid the bill. I even did a 40-minute long interview with Fox 59 that ends on the topics of resignation.
Right.
The point is that everybody knows we and everybody else are talking about why you guys, other than Josh Bain, the Marion County Republicans on the Indy City County Council, are not calling for Joe Hogsett's resignation. It's bizarre. It's weird. It's politically one of the dumbest moves imaginable. And so when you start doing these things, people will naturally react to why. Why won't they call for his resignation?
He went on to say that we disagree on the efficacy of calling for resignation. They didn't call for resignation. They called for a public oversight hearing. And he's right. He attached, a dozen or so different articles of where he's calling for this transparency.
This was like Kaczynski level stuff that this guy was
doing. All
of
the links that he sent us, most of them did not work, with the exception of articles from WIBC. And he said he was surprised to hear this from me because I even wrote an article about this. You're right. I did at WIBC.com. It never anywhere in the article said that you were calling for his resignation. It said you were calling for a public oversight hearing, that you wanted to see the text messages, that you wanted to know the full scope of the subpoena power. Interview notes, text messages, all submitted documents. You were questioning the Fisher-Phillips report. Nowhere in the article does it say that you were calling for Hogsett's resignation, which is what we're talking about. How come only one person, Josh Bain, has been the only Republican who has said they think that Hogsett should resign?
Okay, so as with everything in life, you should, if something doesn't seem right, follow the money, especially as it relates to government. So I'm going to read you. This is from the Indy Star. This was dated, this is September of last year, it looks like. It was updated September of last year. September 23rd, 2024. Yes. Okay, very good. Now, when they say he, they're referring to, okay, here we go. Indianapolis City County Councilor Michael Paul Hart has no issues disclosing how he could personally be benefiting from city contracts. He works as a director at SHI International Corporation, which provides software integration to the city through an active 3-year, $6 million contract, according to a city contract database. Now, in the emails that we had, Councilor Hart and I had a little back and forth after his, I'm like reading this email going, is this even real life? Like, is this a real email sent from an adult man? He did confirm that he works for that company. However, then he said he was going to come on with this, and then he would have to check. He'd have to talk to his employer because we invoked his employer. It's like, you're a public servant. You're a director at a corporation that, according to Indy Star, that company's getting a $6 million contract with the city of Indianapolis. Is it just a coincidence that you won't say Joe Hogsett should resign? Is that just a coincidence? Don't know. How about Paul Anee? Let's see. I'm going to go to the Indy.gov website. Very bottom of Paul Anee's bio. In addition to representing the residents of District 22 on the City County Council, Anee is the executive director of the Marion County Agricultural Fair Association. Let's see. And again, you got to try to put all this stuff in a hurry, and I was moving very quickly. But it looks to me like the Marion County Agricultural Fair Association gets $150,000 a year from the city of Indianapolis. And by the way, and again, I'm trying to put all these votes together, and if this is incorrect, Paul and he can totally tell me. It looks like that in October 17th is the date I have here, in fact, that Councilor Anee voted for a funding increase from $100,000 to $150,000 for the Marion County Agricultural Fair Association of public money. And then in November of 22, he became the director over there. So again, not saying these, I'm not using terms like totally compromised, but is that just a giant coincidence that when there is the most politically freebie ever imaginable and everybody hates this guy and people are literally getting standing ovations for calling for his resignation, that these two Republicans won't say a word, and yet clearly they are benefiting off money coming out of the city of Indianapolis, or companies or organizations they work for are benefiting out of money coming from the city of Indianapolis?
Yeah. He's claiming that he has not been silent, but he's not called for his resignation. Calls for transparency and calls for a change in the top leadership are not the same thing.
No, everybody knows what we were talking about. He's gross. And by the way, if anything I just said is wrong, I mean, again, I'm just working off of public documents and information available to me. If any of that is incorrect about Mr. Anee's voting record or how much the city gives to the fairgrounds, if any of that's incorrect, he can come in. We'd be happy to correct the record. If Michael Paul Hart can get permission from his employer, who according to IndyStar has a $6 million contract with the city and wants to come on and discuss this, we're more than happy to do that. This, like, again, they always turn us into the bad guys, Casey. We have no power over anyone. We're simply stating the obvious, which you guys look ridiculous by saying nothing and putting your hands in your pockets and whistling as this guy's acting like a complete and utter train wreck that he always is.
Okay, so where is Joe Hogsett? He's got a new nickname, according to Andrew Ireland.
Uh-oh.
Instead of Boss Hogsett, it's Hiding Hogsett.
Hiding Hogsett.
Hiding Hogsett.
Oh, where is he?
Well, Max Lewis from Fox 59 did track him down and tried to ask him again about the latest calls to ask him to resign.
But we waited around after to ask him about the latest call for him to resign that came from Councilor Krista Carlino last night. The mayor started to go out a back hallway.
Mayor Hogsett?
He told his spokesperson no to interviews and kept walking, and so did we.
He has to get to his next event.
Okay. He can't answer a couple questions?
Well, I know you all can talk to him, so
I know. Mayor Hogsett, there's no time for us.
The mayor then backed up and went on his way, and his spokesperson took us to task for trying to ask questions about the latest developments.
What else can we answer? I mean, we sat down with you guys for 10 minutes last week.
I know, but there was another call last night.
And we responded last night in a statement. What else can we answer?
Nobody wants a statement.
It's the same story over and over again.
I know.
What else do you need?
Nobody wants a statement. That's what I'm saying.
His spokesperson then told us that the mayor has no obligation to speak with us.
I get that, but I don't think he has any obligation to give you more sound when he's answered this same question over and over again.
I think he has every obligation because he's the mayor.
So this was released yesterday afternoon. He's continuing to dodge questions about the scandal.
The whole city government, the Republicans are a complete joke. Obviously, Joe Hogsett is, I mean, this is our capital city, and this is our representation. What are we doing next?
We're going to talk about those Pacers, okay?
Oh, something uplifting. That's great.
All right, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, will he or won't he? Donald Trump sets 2 weeks on the clock. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
When you golf in Missouri, the courses are so close, you'll spend more time on the fairway than the freeway. After the back nine, enjoy world-class dining and distilleries, shops, spas, museums, and more. Find your new golf MO at visitmo.com.
Big Joe here for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical.
With a B&W Premier Club membership, you'll stay ahead of breakdowns and costly repairs. Our members get routine maintenance, priority scheduling, and exclusive discounts, saving you money and keeping your family comfortable all season long. Visit bplusw.com or call 317-214-0108 for more information.
B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard dealer since 1961.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
JMV here. The summer sales continue to heat up at Miss M's Home and Garden. Shop the great selection of high-quality trees and shrubs and save more when you buy more. Now when you buy 2, you save 10%. Buy 4, you save 20%. And get this, buy 6 or more trees or shrubs, and you save 30%. If you're looking to redo the landscape or add color, now is the time to buy. Miss M's Home and Garden on State Road 135, south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville. MissMsHomeandGarden.com.
Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's. 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 Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number 4th of July sale. Save over $600 on our King P5 smart bed, our lowest price of the season. Limited time. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Neighborhoods are popping up everywhere, but if you want something different than what you're currently seeing, Joyner Homes, based out of Greenfield, can build you a unique, custom home on your own private lot or anywhere you can bring your own builder. They've built hundreds of homes across central Indiana. Visit Joyner Homes Model Homes or go to joynerhomes.com to see floor plans and pricing and more. With Joyner Homes, you can even start from scratch if you want. Check out their 5-star Google reviews and visit joynerhomes.com.
Politics, punchlines, and pure WIBC. The Mashup Podcast pulls the day's best moments from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, and drops them in one place. New episodes each weekday. Search WIBC Mashup wherever you get your podcasts.
125-1 lives, Casey.
I know. Can you believe that?
One more game.
Is blowout too strong of a word for what they did? It was like game 6. You got to do it. And they're like, oh, yeah? Okay, watch this.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think a lot of people were feeling pretty bad going into last night's game. Obviously, they lost the game 4 with the big lead at home, or not a big lead, but a lead at home late in the game. Then they kind of got handed to them on the road, and it showed a lot about that team because they got down early, and then they came back, and I mean, they just beat the doors off of Oklahoma City, and good for those guys and good for the city. And man, you would have just hated to see them win the championship on your home court. And so now the famed Rob Kendall 125-1 Pacers bet has come down to one game.
One game.
One game.
Yeah.
Everybody encouraging me to cash my bet out. Oh, no, Casey.
No, you're
Money
in
means
it.
nothing to me.
All the way.
We're in it to win it, baby.
That's right, all the way. So the Pacers defeated the Thunder last night, 108-91. How about TJ McConnell, right? Standout performance from him. 12 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals.
Well, and, we've said that TJ McConnell is a Broad Ripple 8 at home. He's a Broad Ripple 3 on the road. However, look, there have been very few people in the history of the Broad Ripple rating system that have ever achieved Broad Ripple 9. But I think last night, and when you couple it with his play the game before, TJ McConnell definitely in Broad Ripple 9 stratosphere right now.
Yeah, and how about Johnson getting booted out as well?
Yeah, this is give the fans a little something to cheer about on their way out out the door. But boy, I'll tell you what. And by the way, for the record, people have asked, there has never actually been any person receive a Broad Ripple 10. There has never been it's like your husband with the magazines. They don't give it.
They don't give the 10-point rating
nobody's
out often.
Nobody's ever received a 10. So I was trying to think in my head. The rating scale, I think there have only been 4 or 5 Broad Ripple 9s ever given out, too. So for TJ McConnell to have elevated speaks to the value of his performance the last couple of games.
Yeah, and that's just a more testament to the bench that the Pacers have. Everybody's been saying all season long they've got depth, and they proved it last night.
Yeah, and again, you can't underscore enough how impressive it is what the Pacers do, because as a mid-market team, I mean small market really by NBA standards, but it's their ability to construct that roster. They're a team that does not go into the luxury tax. You're not going to be able to sign a tippy top marquee free agent player because they're just not going to come to Indianapolis. For them to assemble that team, and theoretically, you never know in sports, obviously you want to win it while you have the chance, but to have a roster constructed that appears to have a 2 or 3 year window of bringing many of these same guys back. That is really a testament to the front office and the people who run the Pacers, coming out of the doldrums of that whole Victor Oladipo saga, and within 3 or 4 years putting that team together, centering around the Halliburton trade. So great for the city, great for that team, great for the fans, and Sunday night is the chance to win it all. Now, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Now, you're an events person. I'm not really an events person. So you like to go to things, be a part of the spectacle.
Yeah.
I don't like to leave my house. My dear friend, the most beautiful man in all of Terre Haute television, Ben Verbanek, is pressuring me to come downtown and watch the game on Sunday night to be a part of the potential celebration.
Yeah, you going to do it?
Should I?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, but Indianapolis, how do I know Hawks will have my safety and security?
You just have to roll the dice on that one.
We do have a track record here of that not going well.
You're in charge of that yourself.
I'd love to be among the people. I'm just very concerned about my own safety.
Yeah, I've thought about that as well, because the dude definitely wants to do that, and I'm like, no.
Oh, well, you could. Does he want to come down? We could all watch the game together.
He totally does.
Kev, are you in?
I've got some plans Sunday night.
Kevin!
Boy, what a barrel of fun you are.
Kevin! So we have another star basketball player here in Indianapolis.
Uh-oh.
Sophie Cunningham.
Oh, yes.
She gained over 530,000 followers on TikTok since that big play with that Sun player who fouled Caitlin Clark. So she's the new it girl here in Indianapolis.
Okay, so Sophie Cunningham, does a takedown of the chick who came
fouled
in and
Caitlin Clark.
Gave Caitlin Clark the business. Also well assembled. I think that has something to do with it. I think people have found her some
on the eyes.
videos of her on the interweb.
And a great basketball player.
It's just another example of, if you do the right thing, people will seek you out and look at the benefit of her for standing up for her teammate.
Many people would like to have her as a bodyguard.
All right, so Stephen Whitmer from Indy Reporter is going to join us next. We're going to talk about how he broke that story involving Diego and Micah going to the Pacer game with the guy who was convicted of bribery. Latest on Diego and the trip to India. They've learned some stuff about one of the guys who went with them. A lot to get to.
It's Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Lately, the market has been making some big moves, and not all in the right direction. If you've been watching the numbers and wondering what it all means for your retirement, you're not alone. At Howard Bailey Financial, we plan for times like this. The truth is, a volatile day on Wall Street can feel a lot different when you're getting closer to retirement. That's why right now is the right time to take a fresh look at your portfolio, and Howard Bailey can help. Are you taking on more risk than you realize? Are you diversified in a way that makes sense for where you are in life? Find out today with the help of our free Market Volatility Guide. Visit retirewithpurpose.com to download your free guide and learn more about what market shifts may mean for you. That's retirewithpurpose.com. Together, let's make sure your plan is built to weather whatever comes next. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob from my good friend Mark Deedle. You know, home sales activity is good, not great. So many homes, if improperly marketed, are sitting on the market. Hiring the wrong sales agent will cost you time and money. Hire the expert who maximizes equity and sells fast. The expert realtor I recommend, my friend Mark Deedle. Maybe you want a fast, guaranteed, no-hassle home sale, but don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it. Mark Deedle guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed-upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Luke and Emma in Franklin had to say about working with Mark Deedle. We found the perfect piece of land to begin building our new dream home, but we needed to sell our old place at the right price to fund the dream. We hired the Mark Deedle team and got multiple offers in the first weekend. Closed in 25 days, and they negotiated for us to stay while we completed our new place. Selling was stress-free and profitable with Mark Deedle. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Deedle at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdeedle.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Hey, listen, are you a 50-year-old person looking for term life insurance? Then you need to talk to Bob. Bob specializes in helping people find $1 million or more of term life insurance for a couple of $100 a month. Look, you need to know there's a price war in the term life insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call Bob, and he'll shop and see how much money he can save you. Look, this could be the last term life insurance policy you ever have. Your rates are guaranteed for the next 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rates for the next 20 years. And if you're a smoker or your health is not perfect, Bob has great rates for you too. So for $1 million of term life insurance coverage for a couple of $100 a month, call Bob right now. 800-890-5075. 800-890-5075. 800-890-5075. That's 800-890-5075. Paid for by Term Direct.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio.
Right now, save up to $434 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
In 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, how the Pacers got it done in Game 6 to push the series to a winner-take-all and more. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
They're burning American and Israeli flags. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Protesters in Iran's capital, Tehran, angry over what's now been a week of attacks. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi just said in Geneva,
this nation of nearly 100 million population is subject to an outrageous act of aggression by a regime that has been committing a horrible genocide in Palestine.
And Israel's attacks on Iran's nuclear facilities just keep on coming.
Israeli fighter jets have been active over Iran today. Israel says certainly overnight they hit some 35 targets, but the warplanes have been focusing in western and central Iran, focusing on the ballistic missiles and the infrastructure that supports them.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv, where he also reports.
We just crawled out of the bomb shelters here moments ago with another missile attack that came in from Iran.
Now, some of those were shot down. More may have gotten through. One hit the town of Beersheba earlier, doing damage, but no injuries. Next hour, President Trump will again meet with his national security team. He says Iran cannot be allowed to have nuclear weapons and will decide within 2 weeks whether the U.S. should join Israel to destroy that capability. Now to a court ruling the president posted last night on Truth Social is a big win, a great decision.
The National Guard will stay put here in Los Angeles, at least as long as President Trump orders them here. All three judges ruling in favor of the president, concluding that Trump was lawfully within his authority to take control of the Guard.
That's Fox's Jeff Paul. California's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom vows to keep challenging that, saying the president is not a king. Summer starts tonight. And it feels like it across the central part of the U.S.
We have heat alerts for millions across the Midwest and the central U.S. down towards the Gulf Coast. Extreme heat warnings where it's going to get up to close to 100 degrees and with the humidity feeling worse than that.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
We're going the full 7. It's sunny, 76 in downtown Indy, a high of 85 today. A heat advisory also in effect till Tuesday. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Pacers guard Tyrese Halliburton giving it a go last night for Game 6, and not disappointing.
Turner above traffic, got the rebound, and fed it out to Halliburton for 3.
Mark Boyle on the Elevance Health Radio Network, one of a handful of threes from Halliburton. He'd score 14 points, playing just 23 minutes, helping Indiana to a dominating 108-91 victory over the Thunder in the NBA Finals. He says he was always going to play despite his injured calf.
I want to be out there to compete with my brothers. These are guys that I'm willing to go to war with, and we've had such a special year, and we have a special bond as a group. And, I think I beat myself up if I didn't give it a chance.
Obi Toppin led the way for the Pacers in scoring with 20 points. We now have a Game 7 in the NBA Finals for the first time in 9 years. It's back to OKC on Sunday. A young boy is dead following a shooting at a CVS on Indy's north side. IMPD says officers responded to the drugstore near the intersection of 46th Street and Keystone Avenue just before 3 p.m. Thursday. The toddler found lying outside of a vehicle with a gunshot wound. He later died at Riley Children's Hospital. Investigators say the shooting may have also been self-inflicted. One person is dead following a crash early this morning on the southwest side of Indianapolis. Officers say it was a single-vehicle crash that happened just after 3 this morning. In Allen County, police are investigating a rollover crash involving a pickup truck. A man died after he was ejected from his truck Thursday afternoon. Travel numbers for the July 4th holiday projected to hit a record high. Johnette Cruz reports.
Get ready for crowded roads and busy airports. A record number of Americans are planning to travel for the upcoming July 4th holiday. AAA predicts a staggering 72.2 million Americans will travel at least 50 miles from home over the Independence Day period, which runs from Saturday, June 28th to Sunday, July 6th, which is actually a new record. AAA also says that 1.9 million Hoosiers will travel as well, with the majority opting for road trips. To avoid the worst congestion, experts advise traveling during morning hours. Johnette Cruz, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey back in 1 minute.
Gotta love summertime. It's for enjoying outdoor music and vacations, and our pals at AAA Hoosier Motor Club can help you save on both. AAA is now the official travel partner of Ruoff Music Center, and AAA members going to enjoy some big-time benefits. Early entry into concerts, access to the AAA Premier Lounge. Can't wait to go see Chris Stapleton this summer.
Concerts at Ruoff, always a good time, always a fun time. Same with going on a vacation. And AAA members save with access to hotel discounts, rental car discounts, and a lot more, along with complimentary travel planning. Plus, if you run into trouble on the road, AAA has you covered. Flat tire, dead battery, run out of gas. AAA is there 24/7, 365, no matter where your travels take you. So do yourself a favor. Join AAA today. AAA.com, 844-GO-AAA-GO, or stop by your local AAA office.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers and Carmel, designers of fine custom jewelry.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
They've quickly become, I think, the most interesting and entertaining Twitter account covering Indiana politics and government.
Yeah, doing a lot of digging, and it's amazing what they're coming up with as well.
You know what's amazing? You're right, Casey. The dirt you can find. It's not even really
Just
dirt.
do a little research. Just look around, ask some questions.
Is it really dirt if it's publicly available and no one just thought to look before?
You know, it may not be dirt, but I don't think it's things that everyone wants to see the light of day.
Indy Reporter is the name of the account. Find them on Twitter at Indy_Reporter_. The guy who calls the shots over there. You're like a band of misfit toys. There's a bunch of anonymous people, right?
Yeah, we are definitely the dirty three with what we've been getting called lately.
Stephen Whitmer, hello.
Hello.
So you broke several stories this past week. Again, everybody should follow the account on Twitter at Indy_Reporter_. You broke the big story that the Lieutenant Governor and the Secretary of State went to the Game 3 of the NBA Finals, which is a bit of a pricey ticket.
Yep.
And the guy they went with had a bit of a record.
Yeah, what we ended up finding out pretty quickly was he had a record back in 2009, 2010 for a conspiracy for bribery. And then when we went a little bit further, we found out that he was in prison for a little bit. He had probation. And then we found a My Case, which we had to like triple check on that too, because we weren't exactly sure. But it was for theft, for arson, for insurance fraud. And then here's the crazy part. This guy had like 42 LLCs on InBiz. 22 or 23 of them were active, but there's one in particular building that he owns that was over on 46th Street, and it's a place called Subspace. And it's actually behind this like 12-foot barbed wire fenced-in area. And we end up finding out like through Reddit, through Facebook, that they're doing BDSM, they're having kink parties, they're having poly parties, and funny enough,
I don't even know what that is.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I don't even know what that is. It sounds dangerous.
We got to keep it safe for radio.
Yeah. Okay, so again, just to reset, the Secretary of State Diego Morales, Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith show up at this Pacers game, Game 3 of the NBA Finals. They're doing the photo together, which enrages so many people, given the fact that Micah's espoused very publicly, oh, I'm so concerned about Diego's trip to India, who paid for it, blah, blah, blah. So what, you just decided, well, we know they didn't pay for that ticket probably themselves, I'm going to find out who did? I mean, how do you even go about that?
Well, we just found, just by chance, an Instagram photo with Micah, Diego, Michael Sherfick, and his wife. And then we want to know, well, did they pay for it? Because with the whole India trip, with the Hungarian trip, we want to know who's actually funding all this stuff. The funny enough part is, after this got all released on WIBC, Michael Sherfick decided to delete his LinkedIn account.
He's trying to lower his profile.
Yeah, but then the following, which we posted on Indie Reporter, is like, well, you know what? You're not doing yourself any favors.
So what, he thought if he just deleted his LinkedIn that it would all go away?
Yeah, but then the following day he opened it back up. It didn't look like anything changed. There's also, which we even debated on bringing this up, looks like there's another duplicate Michael Sherfick account. I don't know if he did it by accident, but it's basically identical to the original one.
Okay, so Beckwith then came out and said, oh, I had no idea about this guy's past. I had met him on the campaign trail. And Casey and I have said, we call bullcrap on that, because there's no way as the lieutenant governor you're just showing up to a basketball game with a random individual and not doing any sort of Google search, which any search on this guy once you look into him. Now, he may have totally turned his life around. Doesn't exactly sound like it based on the retail information that you're laying out, but maybe he did. But the point is, there's no way they're not looking into who he's going to games with, or if they're not, that's an even bigger story.
Yeah, and the fact that they have a designated research director that's getting paid like $80,000 of taxpayer money, and they can't spend 5 minutes on Google just to look up whoever this guy is.
Well, he's not going to be able to look him up if he's not told that that's who the lieutenant governor is going to be hanging with.
Well, and I think that's the thing with Micah that's getting very frustrating. And you actually talked to Micah at one point, didn't you?
Yeah, I talked to him for a little bit, and, I'm still pro Micah. Don't get me wrong, Micah, if you're listening to this, I still love you, and, we want you to do better. This entire time that you were running for lieutenant governor, you were supposed to be different. You're supposed to be the outsider, and this is what's so frustrating with us over at Indie Reporter, with all the grassroots people, is that you ran on a certain message, you said you were going to be different, and it turns out you're kind of the same.
Indie Reporter, you heard it. There it is, Stephen Whitmer. He is our guest. Find him on Twitter at Indie_reporter_. Okay, so the other thing that you guys are starting to put together is trying to figure out who funded India. By the way, we are 1 week in from when Diego Morales told me that if I show him my paycheck, he would show me proof that he paid back the money for India. That's weird, right? Is that weird?
It's very weird. I mean, don't do the voice. Don't want to get in trouble, but it is weird that he did say, hey, if you show me yours, I'll show you mine. It's a week later.
I keep refreshing my email, and we're still not hearing anything from the communications director from his office.
Yeah, they did tell us. I guess that was Monday that they would get back to us, and they have not gotten back to us. But so you guys have dug into this, and you have done probably more confirmation of something that Casey found a while ago, which somehow there's this venture capital guy off Lafayette Road who went to India on that trip, and now he's tied into Diego, or at least Raju, and I guess he's tied in Diego too, based on that he was on that trip.
Yeah, so one of the people that went on that India trip is what they posted on the Indio-American Chamber of Commerce Twitter page, and his name was Fabio Alejandro Perez Pereira, but when you look it up, it's like we can't find the guy. When you go to the Soho's Capital website, it actually says Fabio de la Cruz. So what we did is that we went to InBiz, and there's two other names on top of that, Fabricio Perez and Fabricio Perez. And the guy has 21 active LLCs. One of them is a foreign LLC that's based out of Florida. Not exactly sure what's going on with that. But then we went a little bit deeper. It's like, what's the connection to Raju? Well, it turns out that he is the president of Lafayette Square Mall Coalition Incorporated.
Raju is.
Yeah, Raju Chintala, the guy that went to India with Diego and his wife and Fabio.
Who has the contract with the state. And then I asked Diego what he does, and he kept telling me he was in the business services division. And then I was like, no, what does he do for my money?
He checks on the businesses to make sure they're okay.
Yes, that's what he said. He makes sure they're
okay. Thumbs up. All right.
Like an Alien Ant Farm song. Okay, so Raju is tied into this venture capital guy who has all these LLCs and a bunch of different names.
Well, it's interesting because there's 4 of them, and they all go to the same address, and they're all under the same name when you click on the link. But there's Indy's Global Village Welcome Center, International Marketplace, and International Marketplace Coalition Incorporated. But they all connected to the Lafayette Square area. And if you guys forget out there, Soho's Capital wanted to turn the Lafayette Square Mall into this giant soda sopa, and he's wanting to have a public-private investment on it.
This is not, let's just talk about Diego for a second, because obviously he's the office holder. This is not normal behavior, right?
No, in fact, we got a little bit interested in it. We talked about this last week, me and Rob did, and it was like, has anybody else done this? Like Rokita, Holly Sullivan, Connie Lawson. And so we were like, you know what, let's just do a quick and dirty ChatGPT, quick and dirty Grok. And what did it show up on there? No, can't find anything actually that they went outside of the country for any kind of meeting or trip.
Never? None of them?
According to Grok and ChatGPT, never.
Huh.
So he had the hearing that we talked about earlier yesterday, Diego, with the budget committee. And yeah, there were some people like Fatty Cadora who asked some hard questions. Garton made some firm statements. But why won't anybody just look at him in a position of authority and go, who paid for India? Cut the crap. Who paid for the trip?
That's what we're trying to figure out. I mean, Fatty did slightly ask him that,
Yeah,
though.
he did ask him who paid for India, and Diego, the Secretary of State, answered, I did.
Without the voice.
But never the voice. But nobody believes. I mean, nobody believes you. First of all, nobody believes he paid the money back. I mean, I'd be floored if they're able to produce and prove that some sort of money was transferred. By the way, we'll need to get some sort of financial expert to go with us whenever we do this showing of the monies. Sure. I don't understand why this is not the story in the State House, why every one of these lawmakers, especially the Democrats, are not just making this all they ever talk about, because it looks so bad for Diego.
This should be a layup because the election is next year. He's running in the convention. He's going to have $1 million war chest, and not a single Democrat is asking him, was like, who paid for the India trip? It's all very suspect.
By the way, before I let you go, he's still getting all these large dollar donations.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange, isn't it?
Just one like 2 days ago from a guy. He got $10,000. We're trying to figure out who he is. I don't know if I'm allowed to say his name. I don't want to get him in trouble.
Well, I mean, it's going to be public record. Maybe next week you can go back and give us the name. But that's what I don't understand is, and we'll let you go here in just a second. He's an administrator. Like, he's not a lawmaker.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't vote
on anything. He just does what other people or he's supposed to be doing what other people tell him to do. Why do people keep giving him all of this money?
Like every other politician, that especially like last night what we posted, everybody wants something for something.
Yeah.
Do you think it has anything to do with the fact that he can dole out licenses, business licenses?
Or turn a blind eye if, say, there's two LLCs that maybe Sherfick and or Sohost Capital is past due on right now? Maybe.
Oh, well, okay. So we'll look forward to the weekend. It is the most entertaining and informative account on Twitter right now. If you're into Indiana politics or government, Indy_reporter_ Stephen Whitmer. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Karine Jean-Pierre. Latest to put some tell-all book out there about the Biden White House and...
her horrible book. Karine Jean-Pierre and her horrible book. Ugh.
She's saying that she is leaving the Democrat Party now because of the way the party treated Joe Biden.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. You can say goodbye to cracked, stained, and dirty old floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out the color. Upgrade your home today by calling Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. And they come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. The phone number, 877-417-0635. You can find them online, too. GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-626-9692. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-626-9692. That's 800-626-9692. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Turning 65, new to Medicare, or just moved? If you qualify for Medicare and Medicaid, a Humana Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan, a D-SNP, may give you the extra benefits you're looking for. A D-SNP helps cover things like prescriptions and checkups, but it also helps pay for essentials, too. With a Humana D-SNP, you get $225 a month for eligible groceries, rent, utilities, and more. Plus, whatever you don't spend carries over to the next month. You may even get benefits like $0 copays on routine prescriptions, plus routine dental, vision, or hearing coverage. All of this could make a difference for your health and wallet. Learn more at GetHumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a coordinated care HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal. Allowance amounts cannot be combined with other benefit allowances. Limitations and restrictions may apply.
How far out are you planning your life? Like, is a year too far?
Well, it depends on what capacity.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean that the Indiana Republican Party has announced when the next convention will be.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, you got to do that, right? I mean,
a year from now.
Diego's got to find a way to spend that $1 million he's been given from people, no doubt, of just the goodness of their hearts.
Yeah. June 19th through the 20th in Fort Wayne.
Okay. So that means there's no way I'm going to Fort Wayne.
No?
Well,
you got a year to plan.
This is what the Republicans started doing. This was about 10 years ago. The year I was a delegate, it was in Fort Wayne. They decided, well, and like in your mind, it makes sense. So the way every 2 years the Republican Party has a state convention, and their primary job is to elect the people to run this time it'll be Secretary of State, Treasurer, Comptroller. And they nominate those people, and then that's your ticket for the fall. There's also things with the party platform and rules and other things. But the big media spectacle is picking the nominees for the convention, and it's a multi-day affair, and people come down usually on a Friday, and they'll spend the night, or up on a Friday and they'll spend the night and meet with people and mingle and go to different events, and the Saturday is the big day for the convention, and then everybody goes home. Well, I don't know, 10-ish years ago or so, 11, 12, whatever, they decided, hey, it's always kind of been, or mostly been, an Indianapolis-based event. It's in the center of the state. It makes sense. We'd like to expand our footprint across the state and give the other corners, whether it's Evansville or Fort Wayne primarily, some attention to try to draw people down there. Makes sense. The only problem is, if you got somebody from Evansville, that's a 6-hour drive.
Right.
It's long enough to go from Evansville to Indianapolis. Now you've got somebody going from Evansville to Fort Wayne. They're not doing it. I mean, other than the diehards of the diehards. And so I think you tend to get a lower participation level
when they move it around.
Versus putting it directly in the center of the state.
Yeah, well, it will be held in Fort Wayne, June 19th and the 20th, 2026.
Well, you can
mark your calendar now.
I've covered the last two. You can cover this one.
You did cover the last one, didn't you?
And the one before that.
I took your picture while you were there.
That's right.
They actually let you in.
I've been at 2 in a row, and that's more than enough cesspool for me. This one's on you, Casey.
Okay. So did you see that Governor Mike Braun has announced plans to fully dismantle and rebuild the board of the IEDC?
What does that even mean?
Well, only 8 of the required 15 board members are currently listed on the IEDC website. And he criticized the current board, saying they're not as active as they should have been.
But
so he's going to announce new appointees on Monday.
The problem is not the board. The problem is the system itself and the way the system is set up. The problem is the lack of transparency that the system operates under. The problem is that you can't get information about how these people are spending our money, what sort of deals they're cutting, and their behavior appears on the surface to have been so egregious that they have to set up some highly paid forensic audit to get to the bottom of what's going on. It's the system itself. It's not the people running the system. It's literally the system itself. And look, abatements are one thing, right? Infrastructure, another thing. But when you're giving real money to facilitate real estate deals, like they're doing with the LEAP district, that's totally out of bounds of what government money should be going for. It's totally outside how they should be behaving, taking money from poor and middle class people and facilitating, real estate deals at all for mega corporations. And by the way, Braun is not going to let the thing fail. He can't. He's too tied into it. It's the same thing with LEAP. All these people had all this hope about LEAP, and we told you when he was running, we said he's not going to let LEAP fail because LEAP is in Lebanon. Lebanon is overseen by Matt Gentry, the mayor of Lebanon. Matt Gentry's father is Mike Gentry. Mike Gentry is one of the most powerful Republicans in the state of Indiana, who was very helpful in numerous of Braun's electoral endeavors. And Mike Gentry's ex-partner is Josh Kelly, Braun's chief of staff. They're not letting LEAP fail. They're not going, and which is why Braun was at the ribbon cutting, right, for Lilly and stuff. So the people just, these headlines don't impress me anymore. Look at who he put in charge of IU. He re-put Quinn Buckner, who his claim to fame was, I thought Mike Woodson would be a great hire. And then he put Jim Bopp, and Jim Bopp's claim to fame was some memo saying that Braun's campaign was in dire danger if Micah Beckwith got the nomination. I mean, he doesn't have a good track record. He appoints a guy to be the head of the BMV who just disappears a couple months into the job and nobody says anything. Braun does not have a great track record of putting people in authoritative positions who deliver reform. So I don't care about this at all. The IEDC is going to still be the same scummy, crony capitalism-driven organization that it's always been.
So you're thinking that this is not sending a message that if you're running a key economic agency with tax dollars and private investments are intertwined, that you got to be transparent? This isn't the new and improved IEDC with Retson.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty simple, right? If you want our state money, we're going to report that you took our state's money, and we're going to be transparent about it. We're going to tell everybody where our money's going. If you don't like that, we won't give you the money. Now, the answer is don't give them the money, period. If you have a tax climate that is beneficial to all Hoosiers, then people will want to come here for the tax climate. They shouldn't need a special quasi-shadow government organization who is playing by these anti-transparent special set of rules where you can't figure out where your money's going.
So the Braun administration, they did hire FTI Consulting to lead that audit. They froze all state funding to Elevate Ventures, and they suspended spending from the IEDC Foundation. But that audit projected to take 6 to 12 months before we get any results from it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I just think with anything with Braun, he's proven himself what he is. And if you think it's going to be anything other than a speech, and there'll be some fall guy that's going to probably go down on that audit, and they'll say, "See, we rooted out the bad actors." No, the system itself is the bad actor, and until the system itself is changed, nothing's going to change with how the system operates.
So Michelle Obama said that she's so glad she never had a son.
This is strange, isn't it?
It is a little strange because most mothers that I've ever talked to just want a healthy child.
Yeah. It's also a real indictment of your husband because she was on some podcast or something, right? A radio show?
It's the podcast that she does with her brother.
Okay. And she said basically that she was glad because one of the guests or somebody was pressing her on this, and she said because they had two girls and they were pressing her on, why didn't you have a third? Why didn't you try for a boy? And she said, "I'm very glad I didn't have a boy because he would have ended up like Barack Obama." And it's like, I sent this to you and I said, this is very weird. No, because it seems to be a direct indictment of her husband.
It does. And she's saying that very publicly. What? If you had a son, you wouldn't want him to be like your husband? What are you saying? She said that she had plenty of boys to love through her brother's sons. Oh, okay. And then I mean they were talking about parenting in general. But I've seen families who have, a lot of girls and they keep trying and trying and hoping for a boy. Or they have a lot of boys and they keep trying and trying and hoping for a girl. But for the most part, most people just want a healthy baby.
Well, right. That's the normal. I mean, and it is, I don't think it's unnormal to want, if you have multiple girls to want a boy, or I don't think it's unnormal if you have multiple boys to want to have a girl. But I think at the end of the day, God blessing you with a healthy child or children, plural, going through parenting now myself, that's all that matters to me. I said that when Olivia was born. I said, I don't care if it's a boy or a girl, as long as they're born healthy and are able to have a good quality of life. That's all that matters to me. And if we're blessed with future children, I'll feel the same way about that.
She said that he would have been a Barack Obama clone. Yeah.
So right, and this is my point.
That's the problem with her.
It's a complete and utter indictment of your husband, and I just could not believe that was said. I thought, well, maybe I'm misreading this, but you said no, that I'm spot on with that.
No, you're totally spot on with that. Okay, which Indiana lawmaker is least likely to represent your values?
Oh,
yeah, there was a new study that
now
was put out.
Are we talking the federal lawmakers? We're not talking the state people. We're talking the Congress and the Senate, right? Okay. Let me stew on this, and I'll take a guess when we come back.
All right. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Big Joe here for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical.
If your air conditioner is barely hanging on, don't wait for it to fail in a heat wave. Upgrade now with a new energy-efficient system from B&W. Join thousands of Hoosiers who trust us to keep their families cool and comfortable. Get a free estimate today at bplusw.com or call 317-214-0108.
B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard dealer since 1961.
Summertime's here, so get a hot summertime deal at Tom Roush Lincoln.
Get Lincoln's employee pricing on most all new Lincolns. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Navigators. Up to $8,000 off select 2024
Lincoln Nautilus. Come and see why the Roush family has served the community for over 53 years at Tom Roush Lincoln.
Navigator MSRP 105-195. Nautilus MSRP 60-195. 2025 Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Day 8 of the Israel-Iran war. It's sunny, 77 in the Circle City. 85 will be the high today. A heat advisory also in effect. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Iran launching new strikes on Israel. Direct impacts hit all over the country. The White House and Israel both believing Iran is close to creating a nuclear bomb. President Trump is weighing national security and the prospect of another ugly Middle Eastern war as he puts Iran on the clock. Iran says they are only using their nuclear program for electricity. A U.S. appeals court is ruling in favor of President Trump and his deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles during the recent anti-ICE protests. Fox's Jeff Paul.
3 judges ruling in favor of the president, concluding that Trump was lawfully within his authority to take control of the Guard. Now, the decision came from a 3-judge panel on the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. It halts a lower court ruling that had previously stated that Trump's actions were illegal when he deployed the Guard over opposition from California Governor Gavin Newsom, citing damage to federal buildings and objects protesters had thrown at officers. The court believes the Trump administration showed enough proof it was justified to send in the Guard, at least in this scenario.
California Governor Gavin Newsom saying in a statement he's disappointed in the ruling and declared on X that the president is, quote, not a king and not above the law. We're hearing from the victims of the deadly shootings of 2 Minnesota Democratic state lawmakers and their spouses from last week. Senator John Huffman is still in the hospital. His wife has been released. The two were both shot at least 8 times. They released a joint statement saying they are horrified about the attacks. And the rapper known as Fat Joe is facing a $20 million lawsuit from a former worker of his. Terrence T.A. Dixon is alleging labor exploitation and sexual misconduct. Dixon claims he was forced into humiliating situations while contributing to Fat Joe's career behind the scenes. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level on the Go and on WIBC.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's family-owned jewelry store, is dedicated to quality and fine craftsmanship. Let them help you celebrate that special moment in your life. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
What if the next time you painted your home was the last time you painted your home?
Our home has had Rhino Shield for 10 years.
Rhino Shield. Call 888-RHINO-41. Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
What is this study you're about to show me? Like, who's the worst lawmaker in this of all the senators and congressmen?
Of all the lawmakers in the land, yes. Who's the worst? It's a study, and it shows the Indiana Republican lawmaker who is the least likely to represent the values of their voters.
Okay, so it's just the senators and the congresspeople. Now, this is a somewhat outdated list because it judges 23 to 25. So Bouchon and Greggy Pence are not on the list. By the way, I would have got this right. I did look just to see because I figured I should have some idea what we're talking about on this show. But I would have gotten the worst absolutely right, and it isn't even.
What about the best?
Yeah, see, best is a odd thing for me. I don't think any of these people are impressive at all. But I would have guessed, based on this scoring method they came up with, that this person would have been ranked the highest. Yes, I would have gotten both of those correct.
So should we go best to worst?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So in the number one spot, the person who best represents the values of her voters is Victoria Spartz.
Yeah, so she was plus 11. And by the way, this is for the Institute for Legislative Analysis. So her district is R plus 8. and they put her district, what they call district alignment, at plus 11. So she gets an A+ grade from them in terms of representing her voters. Okay.
In second place, you've got, now this is before he was a senator as well, but they did put Jim Banks in the second spot.
Benny Banks. We dubbed him Benny Banks because he is like the Benny character on The Mummy, where his job is to stick his face as far in between Donald Trump's butt cheeks as he possibly can. Donald Trump is our senator here from Indiana. Jim Banks has no original thoughts of his own anymore.
There's no daylight between.
No. So Benny Banks, his district is plus 16 Republican. His limited government rating is much lower than Spart's, 87.4. His district alignment, he's actually -2 compared to his district alignment, so he's actually somewhat out of step. However, his limited government rating is higher than the rest of these ingrates that we're about to mention.
Yeah. In the third spot, professional office hopper Erin Houchin.
Okay, so her...
How do they know she keeps moving around?
Yeah, her district is Republican plus 15. However, her limited government rating is 78.36%. I would love to know what the standard is by which that woman could hit 78.36% anything related to limited government. She gets a C. So Sparks gets an A+, Benny Banks got a B+, professional office hopper Erin Houchin, mediocre is better than she deserves, but they give her a C.
Yep. Then you've got Representative Rudy Yakum.
Yeah,
he's in fourth place.
He's the one who got the free pass on life when Jackie Walorski passed away. He was her right-hand guy. People in a sympathy vote put him in there. He is fourth. His limited government rating is 77.42%.
I would have thought she probably would have gotten a higher rating than what he received. So,
oh no, these people are all turds, Casey.
You could extrapolate that maybe he's not doing as well as she was doing.
No. Walorski was and look, I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead, but she was an establishment stooge too. Indiana is not a conservative state. It is a Republican state. And there is a marked difference between being a conservative and being a Republican. And even Sparks, it's the exhausting goofiness that comes with every vote. Like, her overall votes may be okay, but it's just the exhausted yapping goofiness that comes with every vote that woman takes. All right, so now with senators, Braun comes in fifth. He's obviously the top senator. He was at 76.83% on his limited government rate now, which is weird because we heard Braun say what a rock-solid conservative he was. And according to this, he's exactly middle of the pack, and with middle of the pack of a bunch of establishment Republicans, that's not very good.
So imagine that. They gave him a C+ rating, and that's who we decided should be our governor.
Well, that's perfect for Indiana. Because look at some of the turds he was running against. C+ is actually, can you imagine Chambers or Doden or Silent Suzanne? I mean, it's just, what a horrible batch of people to choose from.
And then they've got Baird. He's getting a D.
Well, that's very kind of them to give him a D because he is my representative, and I can tell you he is a big fat F as in failure. He does come in with the D at 73.16 limited government rating. Jim Baird, also a person who's never had an original thought in his life and just does whatever Donald Trump tells him to do.
And then rounding out the list, oh boy, who's in the bottom?
It's Greggy. Greggy, right down there at the bottom where he belongs. Greg Pence, yes, he's seventh. He's at 70.15, also a D. And then we get to our two failures, Case.
Yeah.
Failure number one, Larry Bouchon, now also no longer a... Now, Bouchon and Greggy are interesting because they're the two who, probably just a massive coincidence, that as soon as they were eligible to qualify for that government pension, they got out of there.
Took the money and run.
They stayed in just to get the age and years experience long enough to get in there and got out. And that's probably just a massive coincidence. Hey, by the way, speaking of Greggy Pence, did the Keel Brothers Oil Company that he ran, did they ever give the, that local bank that got left holding some paper, did they ever give that money back, or did the taxpayers for the environmental cleanup from the Keel Brothers Oil Company? Greggy's a patriot, right? And there's no way Greggy and Mikey would want to leave taxpayers on the hook for their horrible business decisions. Did we ever get our money back for that?
I'm not sure about that. Don't think so.
Probably an oversight.
Yeah.
Okay, so Larry Bouchon, he's a big fat failure. He's an F, comes in at 64.6%. And Case, would you like to guess, amongst all of our statewide or federal lawmakers, who the mirror on the wall, who's the big fattest failure of them all?
The lawmaker that is least likely to represent the values of Hoosiers. Dun, da, da, da. Todd Young.
The Duke of Spendingburg. Not only is he an F, he comes in at a paltry 54.08%. He gets a minus 31 on the list. Wow. At least one of these guys got exactly what they deserved, and it was the Duke of Spendingburg.
Limited government rating. Todd Young, 54%. Well, that's what happens when you're the biggest spender in Congress.
Well, and look, I said that the other night. He gave a nice speech about the military. As long as he stays to the military, I think he's mostly fine. But you can't. It's like looking at some guy or girl that's a serial cheater, and they're giving you some great speech about how much they love you, and you start to fall for it. And then you remember all the times they cheated on you. You can't look at the guy giving a speech about the military and think about how much money he's wasted. I mean, the guy is. I mean, you're talking. I don't know what the number is now. Just an estimate. It's got to be. He's added 15 to 16 trillion to the debt since he's been a senator. Since what, 2016? I mean, if you go back to 2010. It's probably even more than that. I mean, the guy is just, he's just completely out of control.
And not representing your values, that's for sure. Okay, so Senate GOP leadership, they're accelerating their efforts to pass the big, beautiful bill. They want to get that on Trump's desk by 4th of July.
Isn't going well. New article out from The Hill. In fact, I was reading it just before we came back from this segment talking about that. And look, it's too big. I mean, the thing is a monstrosity.
They said that it's undergoing parliamentarian review.
Well, this is what's going on right now. So the major problem they've got is they got two things. One is they basically have been told by the Freedom Caucus people, who their bark is always bigger than their bite, but they said if you touch anything in the bill, we're against it. In fact, we need you to make it stronger. Again, keep in mind, Casey, why would you vote for it if it needed to be better? Why would you have voted for it to begin with? So they can't change anything. Well, then the Senate comes in and they add, they reinstate, I guess I should say, all these Biden green dream tax giveaways, which again, Republicans are liars. You can't believe a word they say. Oh, the green dream, it's awful, blah, 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 blah. And then they just put them back in. So then there's the Collins, Murkowski, Hawley people who are mad that somebody might have to go to work, like that some big fat fatty might have to get up and actually go earn a living in order to get government subsidies. They're mad about that. So they're trying to make those people whole. Well, then now Mike Lee and Ron Johnson, stereo salesman from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and there was one other senator said, this needs a lot more cuts. Screw these freebie giveaways. And of course, Rand Paul's out on it altogether. And so they can only lose 3 people. I do not understand how they're going to cobble this together. And now it looks like the Hill just had an article come out saying that the parliamentarian. So the way the Senate works, there is a referee, because the Senate has all sorts of goofy rules, especially as it relates to the filibuster. The filibuster means you got to get 60 votes to move a legislation forward, and basically any senator at any time can declare filibuster, and then they basically got to show their cards and see if they got 60 votes. You can hold up a vote. The reconciliation bill, because it relates directly to budgetary matters, you get 2 opportunities per year to do a bill that has to relate directly to the federal budget that can avoid the filibuster. So you get 2 opportunities at this every single year. The parliamentarian is an appointed, agreed upon person who is supposed to be totally nonpartisan. They interpret the rules of the Senate, and they call the balls and strikes and say whether provisions of a bill meet the requirements the Senate has set forth to be a budgetary item.
So that's the person that's looking through to make sure that it's compliant with all the Senate rules.
Right. And one of the things that they do, and this is constant, because both sides will try this when they're in power to do something to avoid the filibuster, because almost nothing can get passed with the filibuster. And so what'll happen then is the other side will challenge provisions in that bill and say, hey, you got to strike that out. Hey, you got to take that out. If you remember with the Green Dream, they got a bunch of stuff kicked out with that because the parliamentarian said this violates your rules. You can't do it. And so now the Democrats are challenging a whole bunch of things that primarily relate to cuts in the federal budget that they are hoping will screw the bill up enough that some of these conservative Republicans will vote against it.
Now, it seems that J.D. Vance came out and said that the deadline was a little bit flexible, but the White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, she said, no. July 4th is the deadline, and she said that when she was meeting with senators.
The best thing for this country would be for this bill to fail, for it not to pass, for the Congress then to come back, re-establish the tax rates as they are now, fund the border security, whatever number that is, find applicable cuts out of the Medicaid and SNAP, waste, fraud, and abuse, and then just start dealing with these things one by one. That would be the absolute best thing for this country.
There was this new study that came out, and it said that most people believe that they would not obey orders if it went against their morals.
Okay, well, we need to take a break because we got to talk to Hammer.
Okay.
So why don't we do that next hour, if that's all right?
We'll get to it coming up. It is 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show. We are back at it on Friday. I'll be back. Nigel will be gone. It's going to be the best day of your lives. 93 WIBC.
It's time. You've been putting off that kitchen or bath remodel long enough. What are you waiting for? Get started today with Boer Remodeling. Boer Remodeling customer Kathy had a bath remodel with Boer. Kathy, talk a little bit about your experience.
Our experience with Boer has been terrific. The process was so easy and seamless. When we decided to do a larger remodel of our first floor, Boer was the first company we thought of hiring.
And were you happy with the results?
The results are amazing, and we are so happy with our home and the work that Boer did.
Peter is another recent Boer Remodeling customer with a new kitchen. Peter, what was the best part about working with Boer?
We especially liked the active participation that we were able to have in selection of stone for the countertops. Really came out beautiful. The cabinets also came out very, very well.
The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. They'll guide you through the entire process. Start with a free consultation. Talk to Boer Remodeling today. That's BOOHER, BoerRemodeling.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Life Church. This Sunday, if you're looking for a new church home or a first church home, check out Life Church. They're warm, they're welcoming. They would love the opportunity to meet and welcome you and your family. Life Church, they make it super simple for you with campuses all across Central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton. And they also have great online services too. So if you don't want to even leave the comfort of your own home, see what it's all about, you can do it there. Learn more about everything on the web, lifechurchin.com.
Hello, my name is Nate Clancy. I'm with Labor's Local 120. I've been with Labor's Local 120 for over 40 years now.
For members of Labor's International Union of North America, giving back is part of their commitment to the Indy community, like helping the Soapbox Derby.
We painted the bridge. The Wilkershaw Bridge is an iconic bridge for the Soapbox Derby. It's been there forever. It was, needing work.
When Indy or surrounding communities need help, LIUNA steps up.
Members that went over there, we seen that it was needing work, power washed, done the painting, just anything that was needed, and it looks amazing now.
This is Chris Brickey, business manager of Labor's Local 120. While all our members are skilled, highly trained men and women, we are also your friends, neighbors, Little League coaches, and volunteers here in Indy.
Here at the local, I like volunteering in the community. Just every little bit helps. I really got a real joy in doing that.
We build Indy for good jobs and stronger communities. We are LIUNA Local 120.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed a musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Indiana Foundation Service comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at indianafoundation.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251. Offers require credit
credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number 4th of July sale. Save over $600 on our King P5 smart bed, our lowest price of the season. Limited time. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Trump country is booming. We're building, hiring, and winning in Indiana because energy tax credits put America first, bringing manufacturing jobs home and creating a stronger middle class.
Jobs and factories will come roaring back into our country. More production at home will mean stronger competition and lower prices for consumers.
And America's comeback depends on American energy. Senator Young, keep what works. Don't repeal energy tax credits. Paid for by Built for America.
You support them. Who supports you? Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide insight, encouragement, and resources to help you navigate a loved one's recovery on the Supporting Sobriety podcast. Listen and get support wherever you get your podcasts.
$125-1. We got one game to go, Hammer.
Man, this is like a reality show, isn't it? Like, if this were like Deal or No Deal, you would have the host come up to you. Now, you can cash out for half right now, or you could go for it all, but you risk going home with nothing.
My old man was playing that with me this morning, Mr. Negativity. He's like, you should definitely take that cash out. He's like, do you know the amount of $1 bets you could do with that cash out? I said, I've rode this all the way to the end.
Right.
They were Stinksville when I made that bet before the All-Star break.
You thought
I'm
it was
not
a
cashing out
ridiculous
now.
bet.
Money means nothing to me.
I love we're on pins and needles for $1 bet. $1 bet. That's fantastic. Man, this is exciting.
It
right?
is, isn't it?
This doesn't happen very often. Like, I know there are serious things going on in the world. There's the Middle East situation. There's Russia. There's China. There's the big, beautiful bill. There's property taxes. I get it. But, man, can we just have fun and soak this in for a little bit? Because teams like the Indiana Pacers in the NBA don't normally make runs like this.
Yep.
They're good. But that league is built on star power and the guys like LeBron getting to the finals every year. This year, you've got two mid-markets. Now, one team has the MVP. Another team's got some good, third team-ish all-NBA guys. It's a great series.
Yep.
But this doesn't happen very often. So, man, between now and Sunday, load up on the beer, get some stuff on the grill, smoke some wings, and enjoy this thing.
You make an excellent point, Hammer, because for so long I gave the dude such a hard time. You're so invested in sports, and how can you put so much time and effort into it? But with everything that's going on that you pointed out, boy, these Pacers have come in and given us an escape right at the right time.
Absolutely. And, man, if you're a bar owner downtown, even on these road games, your places are packed. It's like having a home game. The viewing parties, we had one down in Shelbyville at the casino down there, Caesar Sportsbook, and it's been a great thing. One to go, man. One to go. One away from a championship, a parade in Indianapolis. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, so let's see what the last one would have been the Colts, right? That was
correct.
07.
And that parade was really half-assed. I remember having to work it because I was over at another radio station at the time doing marketing. One, it was freezing cold.
Yeah.
Just like ridiculous. I had just gotten back from Florida, right? Flew in, and like the next day, it was a half-assed kind of thing. And even then, Jim Irsay said, hey, next one we win, it'll be better. Well, unfortunately, they never won another one.
That's right. So you got to go all out. And we talked about this before. I think for longtime Indianapolis residents and certainly generational people, there is a much bigger tie to the Pacers than the Colts because they were here in the 60s, the 70s, that, you grew up. There's now generations of people versus where the Colts, and I get that a lot of people have no ties to this now or were not alive. Colts are sort of mercenaries, right? Like they were hired guns that we bought them away. We wooed them away from Baltimore. Pacers are our team.
Like, if you're around our age, right? Rob and I are close in age. Casey and I close in age, give or take a few years here. But like our parents grew up without an NFL team here. So they were either Bears fans or Steelers or Cowboys or one of the national brands, and then the Colts land in your lap. Now, people our age, we grew up right when the Colts first got here. Now, I was born in 1977. Colts arrived in 84. So by the time I was aware of kind of what was going on, I was a Colts fan. And now my kids, they grew up just Colts. But the Pacers have always been Pacers. Like, my old man grew up watching the ABA. He remembers going to the the fairgrounds, watching Mel Daniels and all those guys. And then we kind of had the Chuck Person into Reggie Miller into the Davis era. And now our kids have this Tyrese Halliburton, Paul George type of era.
I love that Reggie Miller is courtside for those home games. I think that's wonderful.
As a fan.
Yeah, I just think
not
that's
working.
I mean, because obviously now, since they made it, the Pacers previously had made it to 6 games. This would probably make them the best Pacers team in the NBA era. They've made it to a game 7, which is further than any team's ever made it. And he was just right there cheering the whole time. And I thought that was just wonderful.
You talk about the bond the Pacers have with this city. It feels like the players have that too. It's almost like a family type of thing. It's a reunion when they have these big games. Like, all the old guys come back. Reggie and Derek McKee. You see Lance Stevenson sitting there. Steven Jackson. Rick Smits is there.
Showed Ron Artest last night.
Right. And they're all into the Pacers. They're not just there to be seen. They're cheering on. Like, I've been to some of the games, and they don't just sit there, with their hands on their lap. Reggie's up and clapping. He's leading the Hoosiers cheer. And
engaged in it. Multi-generational.
That dirtball Nigel's not working today?
He's off again. I know this may be a shocker, but Jeff Boggs will be filling in for Big Nige today.
What are you doing? Without
it's our usual fun though. So we have barguments lined up for today.
Very good.
The topic we're going to bring to the table today: worst parent in a movie or TV show.
Woo!
So you guys think about that. We'll have that around 3:35 today. Worst parent in a movie or TV show. We've got the sports editor for Breitbart. We've got to talk a little Pacers, a little Caitlin Clark, got all that going on.
Little Sophie Cunningham.
Oh, my future ex-wife. And if we got some action in the Middle East, hot damn, we'll have that too, and it's Beer Sample Friday.
All right, thanks, Hammer. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number 4th of July sale. Save over $600 on our King P5 smart bed, our lowest price of the season. Limited time. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Fostech is American-made firearms made right here in Indiana. American craftsmanship meeting cutting-edge innovation. Their lightweight AR-15s are incredible, and they don't sacrifice dependability or durability. Advanced machining capabilities create incredible products, and they are all designed, machined, assembled, and tested right here in Indiana. Fostech, owned by a family that has served and loved their country. Visit Fostech.com, F-O-S-T-E-C-H, Fostech.com to find the dealer near you.
Denny Smith for Sundown Gardens. Now listen, don't miss the best sale of the season. 20% off annuals, perennials, container shrubs, and bald and burlap evergreens. And that's not all. Now through June 22nd, get 30% off all pottery and container trees in stock. Come shop for your great selection of high-quality plants ready for your home. Have your home be the talk of the neighborhood and save big at Sundown Gardens. Now through June 22nd. Sundown Gardens on the corner of 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield.
Create a glowing backyard retreat with Indie Decorative Concrete. Get a free outdoor lighting package with the purchase of our best stamped concrete patio. Hurry, offer ends June 30th. Go to indiedecorativeconcrete.com.
It takes everyone in the community working together to create a brighter future. Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Visit liveunited.org to learn how you can help.
Coming
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, it all comes down to Game 7, how the Pacers forced a winner-take-all, how a toddler died Thursday while in a car at a drugstore, what an Indy man is convicted of for an incident 2 years ago in Greenwood, and what you should do to combat the heat we'll be dealing with over the next coming days. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
He's still trying to decide what the U.S. should do about Iran. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump will meet again this hour with his national security team. He's given himself 2 weeks to decide if he'll help Israel destroy Iran's nuclear weapons capability. Fox's Alexandria Hoff reports from the White House.
There's also the possibility for some domestic pushback and the consideration of Iran's future. The New York Post reporting that President Trump is concerned. He doesn't want another Libya if a U.S. bombing campaign were to topple Iran's supreme leader. Of course, recalling the chaotic vacuum of power that followed Muammar Gaddafi's fall in 2011. The White House maintains that the president is most interested right now in diplomacy.
And Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, just said in Geneva, where he's holding talks with Europeans.
Hundreds of my fellow Iranians have been killed and injured following Israel's surprise armed attacks and terrorist operations.
And Iran keeps firing back. Another barrage sent 2 hours ago.
There was a couple of dozen missiles that flew at Israel.
Fox's Mike Tobin reports 3 of the missiles got through the Iron Dome defense.
One of them hit here in the Tel Aviv area, resulting in no reported injuries to this point. Another one hit in Beersheba. That is a town that's now been hit 3 times in the past 2 days. This latest missile resulting in no injuries. A different case in Haifa to the north. One of the missiles got through, and we've now got reports of 5 injuries. That, according to Rambam Hospital. 2 of those injuries are serious.
The Supreme Court has just ruled in favor of oil and gas companies, reviving their legal challenge that had been dismissed to California's emissions for vehicles and electric cars. The day after an appeals court ruling California's Democratic governor does not like, but President Trump does, upholding his deployment of National Guard troops to Los Angeles to deal with protests over illegal immigration raids.
Governor Gavin Newsom reacting by saying the president is not a king and is not above the law. He says they'll press forward with their challenge to President Trump's, quote, authoritarian use of the U.S. military against citizens.
Fox's Jeff Paul. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
One more game to go. Skies are sunny at 79 in downtown Indy. Will reach 85 this afternoon. There's also a heat advisory in effect. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Pacers coach Rick Carlisle talking about his team stepping up to win a pivotal Game 6 on their home court.
We had some that weren't great ones, but when we made a mistake, we bounced back well, and that's what you got to do this kind of time of year.
The Pacers beating the Thunder 108-91. Pacers forward Obi Toppin, who led the team in scoring with 20 points off the bench, talked on the impact that T.J. McConnell made in the win.
He had a great start to the game, and it got us going, brought juice into the game, energy into the game, and it's been like that the whole game. So I feel like he was a big part of this win today.
Game 7 is Sunday night in Oklahoma City. It's the first NBA Finals Game 7 in 9 years. There will be a watch party at Gainbridge Fieldhouse for the game, a highly anticipated winner-take-all. The Fever unable to sweep the night, though, as they fall to the Golden State Valkyries, 88-77 last night on the road. The team was without head coach Stephanie White, who missed the game due to personal reasons. Today is also her birthday. Indiana next will play the Aces in Las Vegas on Sunday. IMPD officers say a child died from what was likely an accidental shooting in a car at CVS on Indy's North Side Thursday. Police responded to the drugstore near the intersection of 46th Street and Keystone Avenue just before 3 o'clock, where they found the toddler with the gunshot wound lying outside of a car. He was taken to Riley Children's Hospital, where he tragically died.
This is very heart-wrenching whenever our officers and or community have to respond to a person shot, let alone a juvenile or a child.
IMPD officer William Young speaking to reporters at this scene. Investigators say the shooting may have also been self-inflicted. Officers say all parties are accounted for. An Indianapolis man is convicted for pointing a firearm at 2 teenage girls in an incident 2 years ago in Greenwood. Roger Reed was also found guilty of operating a vehicle while intoxicated. He faces up to 2.5 years for the felony conviction and an additional 180 days for the misdemeanor charge. Heat sickness can hit fast, and that's why forecasters say to stay alert in the days ahead. Ryan Hedrick reports.
A heat advisory will take effect Saturday through Tuesday.
Our typical heat advisory criteria is around 105 degrees, and we're not necessarily expecting to hit that.
Forecaster Joe Neal that the National Weather Service says what we are going to have
is multiple days in a row where we're seeing afternoon heat index values exceeding 100 degrees.
He says if you plan to be outside, take plenty of breaks and stay hydrated. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Diamond Engagement Ring Store.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, Casey, this is going to come as a big shock to you. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Do you have both hands at 10 and 2 on the steering wheel?
I do.
Firm grasp. Ready to go for this earth-shattering news?
Yeah.
The government hasn't been exactly accurate in describing the current go-broke condition of both Social Security and Medicare.
What? I'm shocked.
Look, we have said this. It's the Kendall and Casey show, by the way. I'm Rob. That's Casey. We have said this for years on this program and the various programs I've been affiliated with. And Casey and I have talked about it now for the past 3.5 years, which is our politicians are being incredibly disingenuous with every single one of you. They're quite frankly being dishonest with every single one of you, acting as though they can continue for any length of time on the current course with both of these two programs, and for you to expect that there's going to be any money available or what people believe will be available for them when it comes time for them to collect. And so a new announcement was made that both of these programs, Medicare, Associated Press has the article, that what they call the go broke dates, where they're officially, they're out of money, right? So they have to start cutting benefits to the recipients,
right?
Has been moved up for both of these. 2033 for Medicare. Last year they claimed it was 2036, and it is now 2034 for Social Security. Last year they claimed it was 2035.
Okay, so Social Security can only pay 81% of the scheduled benefits, and Medicare can only cover 89% of hospital-related costs.
And it will only keep going down, obviously, because, and this is what's so frustrating about our politicians, is they just won't come clean with the American people. We are all adults. We should be able to have adult conversations about math. And that's what it is. When you have more people living longer and you have fewer people paying into a program for every recipient, basic public school math tells us you're going to run out of money in those things. And so what we should be doing for people like myself, for Kevin, now you're going to sneak in on it, although as soon as you get in,
Not
you're
necessarily.
going to start losing money.
Yeah, not necessarily, because I did, I asked, what's the Social Security eligibility age? And it really depends on the type of benefit in your birth year. So you can begin receiving reduced Social Security retirement benefits at age 62. Now, if you want the full package and you were born 1960 or later, the age is 67.
So for me, that would be me. That would be me and you.
Correct.
Yes, and you. I wanted to clarify, you're not that old. And Kevin. So the idea that, let's see, for me, that'd be what, 26, 27 years. For Kevin, that would be 37 years. For you, it would not be that many years. But it would still be a well over a decade. This is not going to be here in the current form.
If you want to get the maximum monthly benefit of Social Security, you have to wait until you're 70. Well, hello. That's going to come long after these dates of 2033 and 2034.
And the reality is, while the average male and female life is 78 or 79 years old now, I think. Okay, so you pay your whole life into something and you get, if you're lucky, 8 years worth of benefit out of it. Sounds like a Ponzi scheme to me, Case. It's a strong word to use, but I mean, think about Kevin. So Kevin, again, 67. That's 37 years. He's got 37 years to have money sucked out of a program.
He's paying for someone else.
He has zero chance of ever receiving the benefit on. And instead of looking at Kevin and saying, Kevin, we got to have an honest discussion, which is we've screwed up. This thing's running out of money. Here, we got to make some serious changes to this thing to ensure everybody gets it if they want it. Now, like if they came to me right now and said, Rob, you can opt out of Social Security, which means you'll get nothing, and you lose everything you've paid in, but you never have to pay in again, I'd take that deal in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I bet you would. And especially Kevin would as well.
Totally.
I'm like right on the fence there.
Right.
Because a lot of financial advisors are now saying, you know what, if you can start at 62, I think it's like 62 and a half actually, then do it. And I'm going to be like right there. Do you say, yeah, I'm going to take what I can get, or do you say no thanks and walk away?
Well, it's a
You don't have that option, though.
It's a dirty, dishonest, broken system, and that's our government in a nutshell. You can apply that to so much of our government. Dirty, dishonest, and broken. And this is what's so maddening when people like Trump in this big, beautiful bill say, oh, we're not touching Medicare, we're not touching Social Security. So you're just going to let the thing run out of money because Trump won't be president then, so he won't have to take the blame on it. You're willing to let the thing run out of money. You're going to let people like us, all of us, are going to get screwed on this. You're going to let that happen because you guys don't have the courage to look the American people in the eye and go, this system got broken a long time before we got here, but we've got the courage to fix it. It's going to have to be one of two things: benefit reform or tax increases. I mean, those are your two options. I mean, why can't we just have that honest conversation with the American people and say we have created this system that is so poorly run that it's out of money, and instead of letting it run out of money, if we believe in the system, we're going to either raise your taxes or cut your benefits. Let's have the talk.
So they're saying the factors behind this is because of rising healthcare costs. Also, the Social Security Fairness Act, which was enacted in January, which increased benefits for some recipients.
Well, think about that.
Which increased the depletion. Like, it started happening even faster.
Think about that.
Yeah.
That's how gross these politicians are. You cannot hate these people in the Congress enough. You cannot. No matter how much you hate them, you need to hate them more. They know this thing's running out of money. They know at best, hey, we got 12 to 15 years. And they're like, let's just increase the benefits. Why? Because it's legalized vote buying. That's what they're doing. Because the reality is, and I'm not trying to be mean-spirited when I say this, but many people are on Social Security today who are amongst the most likely of us to vote are likely in 10 years, they may not be here. And I'm not trying to be crass when I say that. I'm saying that's the reality of math. And so these gutless cowards in the Congress said, well, we'll just give them more stuff so they'll vote for us. Sure, you're going to get screwed, but we think you'll forget about it by then.
Social Security's last major reform was 40 years ago. That's when they raised eligibility from 65 to 67. There are 69 million Americans who rely on Social Security, and 68 million are enrolled in Medicare. And that's why they're not going to come out and say, hey, you know what? We're out of money. We got to make changes. Sorry, you're not going to get this anymore.
But yeah, I know, I get that. But I mean, I just like you look at this and you say these people can't manage anything, Casey. They cannot manage anything. Look at every facet of our federal government, and you say, look at how it's run. We're $37 trillion in debt. This program's running out of money. That program's running out of money. There's nothing the federal government does that's even moderately efficient or wouldn't go out of business almost immediately if it had to survive as a private business. I'm an adult. I should be able to have the talk. And by the way, why do we have a system to begin with that is so poorly run? Like, think of all the money you pay into Social Security in your life, whatever that number ends up being, hundreds of thousands of dollars for many people. And if you'd just been able to take that money and invest it on your own,
right,
and what that percentage would have been back versus the paltry, I mean, it's a pathetically low rate of return on the money you've put in versus what you get back if you live long enough to get to it and the time you have it. And yet we're led to believe that that's an acceptable way to run our country, is on a system like that.
So advocates suggest two different options: either raise revenue or cut benefits.
I think that's what I just said, wasn't it?
Right. But, of course, you've got Trump and Republicans saying, no, they're not going to touch it.
No. They're not going to do anything, and they'll just let it go out, and then they'll hit up. If we are still blessed to be doing this show together 10 years from now, if we're still blessed to be, if you're cursed and I'm blessed enough that we're still doing this show together, let's mark this day down. And boy, Kev, you'll be in your 40s by then. So boy, howdy, I hope you've moved on. But if you're still here as well, we'll put you down as a part of it. 11:15 on June the 20th, 2025, that they will let it go broke, and then they will mass panic, and then they will raise taxes on people to fund it. That's the prediction. It will not be a small tax. It will be a massive wealth transfer in order to figure out how to pay for this thing.
10 years from now, according to this report, it'll be out of money.
That's what I'm saying.
Before then.
I'm saying they will let it go broke, and that's what they will be doing, and we'll be sitting here. And I will say, remember on June the 20th of 2025, Kevin, when you still had hope in your life, and for some reason you're still stuck here with us, that I said they were going to let this thing go broke, and they were going to enact massive tax increases.
Okay, speaking of getting older, some people are very concerned about Donald Trump's health because his hand, was it his right hand, his left hand? I believe his left hand. So there were some pictures, showed a little discoloration, a little puffiness, possibly some makeup on his hand.
The last
it was
guy
his right
talked
hand.
to dead people and couldn't walk off a stage and pooped his pants. We're concerned about the color of some guy's hand now?
Yeah, they're saying that it looks like he has a little bit of edema or some swelling.
He's old. Again. The last guy, did you see those videos of Juneteenth celebration last year with Biden?
Right.
He's
zoning out,
some
staring
dude
off into
who
space.
needed to be watched 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at the old folks' home.
Well, according to Jasmine Crockett, Kevin, can you pull up number 7? She said that Joe Biden's mental acuity much more supreme compared to Donald Trump.
The way that I would describe Joe is, he's a granddaddy, right? And so, the way that my granny was when she was younger versus ultimately kind of where she was at 81 when she ended up passing away, mentally, she was still there, but, her attitude about certain things, whether or not she was looking to be as polished or cared to be as polished, or even if she moved as fast, it just wasn't there. We all slow down. But I will tell you that I will take a broken, or however they want to describe Joe Biden, over Donald Trump any given day.
Well, too bad it didn't work out for you, lady.
Right, exactly.
All right, so Nikki Kelly's going to join us next from the Capitol Chronicle. She normally joins us on Thursdays, but we had the day off yesterday. We're going to talk about this hearing involving the Indiana Secretary of State and this budget committee where the lawmakers are not happy with him, and he was basically telling them to smooch both of his butt cheeks, and that got pretty animated. Plus, Braun coming out and saying yesterday, I am not running for president.
It's next on 93 WIBC.
When you wake up,
You understand this is about money. 1,000%. They started this.
when you work,
As long as the category was all Bruce Springsteen all the time.
I told you I think I could win a game of Jeopardy. I could not go on a run.
when you drive home,
Is it time to try something new, you think? Because it hasn't worked, and maybe try something new.
traffic when you need it,
Stopped on 465 again.
and updates all the time.
I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level, on the go.
Stay in the know wherever you go with 93 WIBC.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-626-9692. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-626-9692. That's 800-626-9692. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Summertime's here, so get a hot summertime deal at Tom Roush Lincoln.
Get Lincoln's employee pricing on most all new Lincolns. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Navigators. Up to $8,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Come and see why the Roush family has served the community for over 53 years at Tom Roush Lincoln.
Navigator MSRP 105-195. Nautilus MSRP 60-195. 2025 Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
So we got drama with the Secretary of State, we got drama with the governor, and when we got drama in Indiana politics and government, there's only one person to go to.
Yeah, that's right.
It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here. Let's check in. She's one of the best in the business, helps run the Indiana Capital Chronicle, one of the best websites in all the land of covering Indiana politics and government, the great Nikki Kelly. Hello.
Morning. How are you?
All right, we can start with the dealer's choice, Nikki Kelly. It's your day. We're feeling generous on a Friday. We can either start with the governor or the Secretary of State. Plenty to talk about either one of them. Your choice.
Well, let's start with the governor. He's at the top.
Very good. Okay, so there was this report from Adam Wren. He does Importantville. He does Politico, saying that Braun was testing the waters or considering testing the waters on running for president. He came out yesterday. He also alluded to this on Hammer and Nigel on what that was Thursday or Wednesday, and said that's not happening. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, caught up with him after an event yesterday in West Lafayette and asked him directly about it, and he, said he's focused on. Basically, he said, "Look, I was out there. I couldn't get anything done. It's a mess out there, so I came back here to be governor and." And I'm focusing on that. And when I did say, I said, okay, is that a yes or no? Are you interested? I had to push back a little. Mm-hmm. He said, I have no interest in it. In that is what he said. So, I thought it was a pretty strong denial. Others say it was soft. That's what Adam Wren said online. He called it a soft deflection, but seemed pretty strong to me. And later in the day, reporters asked him about it for a second time in another event, and he also, he was like, I don't know where this is coming from. So, someone's not being truthful somewhere, but at least if I'm taking him at face value, he is not interested in looking at a presidential run.
All right, Nikki, you've been doing this a little bit longer than I have. So the governor comes out and says he's not interested in a presidential run. I say that means he's definitely going to run.
Well, there is something to be said for that. But like I said, he did seem pretty straightforward that, he kind of laughed about it and said, seemed confused about where it was coming from. So, maybe he's a great actor, but then we're unaware of that. But
well, that's my question for you, Nikki, because Adam Wren has done this for a long time. I'm sure he just didn't make that up. Somebody in Braun's orbit had to be feeding that to him, didn't they?
Absolutely. Someone's telling him that. And so I don't know who his sources are, but obviously trust Adam as a journalist. So it's interesting that it's out there, but, he's definitely denying it.
Nikki Kelly, our guest. Find her over at IndianaCapitalChronicle.com. All right, so we've touched on this multiple times on the show today. There was that budget Committee hearing on Wednesday with the Secretary of State. These lawmakers are clearly getting more and more frustrated with Diego.
Yeah, they are. And, you know, their frustration got to build up for a few months since he wasn't there at the earlier, meeting where he missed it when he was in India. So they've got to stew on some things. And then meanwhile, new things come out with the vehicle, with these foreign trips. And so there were definitely some hard questions for him. He was pretty defiant, saying, and he was focusing on how hard he works. And I don't think anyone's saying he's not working hard. I mean, the question is, he's saying, I'm going above and beyond, and I'm representing Indiana and getting people to come here. But the fact is that while he's off on those trips, he's not here doing his actual job. And so I think that's a fair question for lawmakers.
I thought Fatty Cadora had a reasonably decent point when he said you claim to go above and beyond. However, you failed to meet the bare minimum, one of the key points of your job, and that was the budget meeting to begin with.
That's what I mean. Yeah. I mean, he kept saying I go above and beyond, but like if the above and beyond is stopping you from being there for your actual duties, then that's a problem. He also seemed to focus a lot on how much he's going to all these counties and all the statewide office holders go around and visit the counties. That is not new. So he had to sort of make it seem like, well, I did it faster than everyone. That's really important. And again, I'd like, as a journalist, and if I had questions on that committee, would be, okay, but what is that getting the state? You driving around to all these counties. It's getting you publicity and it's getting you out. And that's probably where he gains a lot of his support in a convention battle, is with these local officials who might be delegates, right, in the upcoming nominating commission. Mm-hmm. But, what is it getting the taxpayers? And I'm not sure what that is.
Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle is our guest. So, we've gotten into this multiple times on this show today. We talk about it on the regular. I think this India thing is a massive story. This is not normal behavior for a statewide elected official to disappear to a foreign country with something he has no responsibility on, right? We're not just beating a dead horse here. This is a very strange thing.
Yeah, it's definitely strange. I mean, obviously, there have been statewide office holders who go out of the country for things, but, they don't try to hide them and then also speak as Secretary of State over there. They don't, it's always been clear who's paying and who isn't paying. So it's definitely, all of that has been very complicating. And, especially like the Hungary trip was clearly part personal, part politics, paid for by an outside group. At least in that one, he said who paid for it. Mm-hmm. So we can see and look for conflicts and things like that. But
real quick, one other article you guys had, I guess this would have been 2 days ago now, that I think is interesting, is that the state is now acknowledging basically that HIP 2.0 is pretty broken and they need a HIP 3.0. And I don't know, at this point, it's like maybe we should just get off the whole HIP thing if it keeps being that broken.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason that they believe it's broken, though, is because the key parts of it, that when it was put in place, it was these power accounts that people had to contribute to. Even if it was $5 a month, they had to contribute. Like they had, and then work requirements. Some of those things got struck down by courts in between. And so, they want to revert back to how it was imagined it's supposed to be, but they need the federal government to alter their waiver and give them some more flexibility in order for that to happen.
The new head honcho, though, Mitch Rube is his name, right?
Robe.
Yeah, Robe. Well, it's spelled R-O-B. Okay.
Yep.
He has been talking about this, and you're right. He's talking about needing help from the federal government. Well, the fact that it's Trump and it's Braun, that should be pretty easy, shouldn't it?
Yeah, except, I mean, they're caught in this weird situation, and basically Braun put out a statement that said, yes, I support them getting their fiscal house in order and stopping the spending and all that, but he was also had to acknowledge that those changes they're discussing are going to massively impact state governments' budgets and bottom lines. And so it's kind of an interesting balance line that he's having to walk between acknowledging, what he's said for a long time in terms of Congress needing to control spending, but, just shifting that to the states is not helpful now that he's governor.
So what happens if the big, beautiful bill doesn't pass?
Well, some version of the bill will pass, obviously. If it doesn't pass, we're as is where we are now, and the state is going to move into work requirements that they came up with. They don't need the feds to do that, and obviously changes to SNAP and Medicaid reimbursement rates. Those rates and things would stay the same until lawmakers change them.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone and everything in our government is broken, Casey. That's why Nikki Kelly will always have employment security.
Right.
Nikki Kelly, thank you as always. You're the best.
Have a good day, guys.
Yeah, you too. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The Pacers will be playing for a title on Sunday. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:30. The Indiana Pacers are heading back to Oklahoma City for a Game 7 on Sunday after their dominating win over the Thunder last night. Sunday's Game 7 will tip off at 8:30 Eastern. A watch party is planned for Gainbridge Fieldhouse. A toddler is dead following what police say is likely an accidental shooting that happened in a car at a CVS store on Indy's North Side Thursday. AAA is projecting a record number of Hoosiers will travel for the 4th of July holiday, with about 1.9 million Hoosiers that will go at least 50 miles from home over the extended Independence Day weekend. And prepare for the heat. We'll be in the mid-80s today, but starting Saturday, temperatures will jump into the 90s and stay there through much of next week. I'm Jarrett Lewis, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Everyone is talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation. Like your neighbor Dennis.
I was in the process of refinishing my garage and, trying to turn it into a man cave. So I started searching, online, and I ran across Galaxy.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings is not epoxy. It's better.
First thing I wanted to do initially is I wanted to repair where the concrete had eroded. They said they could do that. I said, well, heck, let me go ahead and get the entire floor covered.
Commercial or residential, 4 times stronger than epoxy, and it comes with a lifetime warranty.
They were so courteous and respectful of the home and the property. And when they're done, they cleaned up, picked up, swept up. It was like they were never there.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com now. That's Galaxy Concrete Coatings. And remember to like us on Facebook. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. We're out of this world.
I would recommend Galaxy over any other competitor, hands down. You're going to be taken care of and you're going to be satisfied. These guys know what they're doing.
There's something timeless about radio. It's where stories are told, ideas are shared, and communities stay connected. Our generation grew up with it, and we still believe in the power of tuning in. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe planning for retirement should feel just as familiar and trusted. That's why we're bringing real conversations and practical advice to the airwaves. Join us every Sunday at 9 p.m. for our Retire with Purpose Radio Hour, right here on 93.1 WIBC. We'll talk about what really matters in retirement, income you can count on, choices you can feel good about, and a future that reflects your values. Because some things, like good planning and good radio, never go out of style. Howard Bailey Financial, retirement planning that speaks your language. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com. The Retire with Purpose Radio Hour is a paid placement on each airing station.
If you have summer plans, then make Macy's Summer Style Sale your first stop. That's because you'll find amazing deals on exactly what you need to make any summer occasion feel like a getaway. Whether you're headed to the beach or your friend's backyard, we're talking matching sets, airy linen, swimsuits, cover-ups, and so much more for 25 to 50% off. Yeah, up to half off. So no matter where you're going, head to the Summer Style Sale going on now at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Pierce Jewelers is the best family-owned jewelry store in Carmel. All jewelry and watch repair, appraisals, and custom design are done in-house. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
What if the next time you painted your home was the last time you painted your home?
Our Rhino Shield has been on for 8 years.
Rhino Shield. Call 888-RHINO-41. Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
So that little dirtbag Bohacic's going to get to keep driving his car, huh?
Yep. That's what they're saying. The Porter County Superior Court judge granted him permission to continue driving, but he does have to install an ignition interlock device. So that means he's going to have to blow through a tube. And
Could you have somebody else do that for you? What would stop you having somebody else blow through the tube? I've wondered that. Maybe there is an answer to that. Okay, so so why do we even have the law that says if you fail to take the breathalyzer that you lose your license? Like, clearly that law didn't apply to him because clearly he did. So I know most of our audience is aware. This is maddening. By the way, who's running this story? Do we know?
Indy Star.
Okay, this is maddening because Mike Bohacic, state senator from northern Indiana, this is the story that we broke, by the way. He covered it up, and the Republicans covered it up down here for months. He blows this .283. He's so stupid drunk and acting like an idiot that the people at the Panda Express are like, this guy can't be out in decent society.
Yeah. They reported that he was stumbling and appeared intoxicated.
You would be
food all over
You
himself.
would be stumbling with food all over yourself too if your blood alcohol. What do you think is your highest blood alcohol content? What do you think is the highest it's ever been?
Not that high.
What do you think?
I don't know. I know I had a friend who had a breathalyzer as kind of like a party trick.
Oh, that's cool. What'd you blow?
I don't remember. But
you do remember. Come on, Casey.
No, but I was also at a place where I could walk home if need be.
Kev, what do you think's the highest your blood alcohol content's ever been?
I can't say a number, but it's probably pretty high.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way he was coherent in any shape, form, or fashion at .283. And yet he's operating a motor vehicle in the middle of the day, by the way. Let's point this out, too.
This is day drinking on a Friday.
The middle of the day. How many vodkas and diets do you think you'd have to drink in a row to get to .283?
Yeah, I'm sure part of his defense. I had an empty stomach. He was going 62 and a 45, by the way. And in a written letter submitted to the judge, he pled not guilty.
Yeah, so he of course, then tells the Republican caucus, and they don't say a word about it. And so this guy just is allowed to operate because of this shield law for months as though nothing has happened to him. He avoids the mugshot, all the other stuff that is supposed to be sort of the shaming is really the defense mechanism. Of course, these people have no shame, but the idea of, hey, if you're a prominent person and you get a DUI, it's going to be out in all the papers, your mugshot, and you can't get the body cam footage, I'm told, either, that it's almost impossible to get the body cam footage. So he's just going to string this thing out. He'll get some low-level probation. He'll keep operating his car, and there'll be basically no punishment. And then he'll get the Jim Lucas treatment, where the Republicans...
He'll get in line.
He'll get in line. He'll do whatever they tell him to do. He's totally compromised. And then they'll give him a bunch of money and help him get reelected. That's how it works.
Yeah. He said that a license suspension would pose a substantial hardship.
How about the substantial hardship he was imposing on everyone in the decent society in which he was operating when he was so drunk he had food all over himself and he was trying to eat and drink while the officer was giving him commands to get out of the vehicle? How about what was the word? It would cause a what?
Substantial hardship.
How about the hardship he was causing society then? These people are shameful. They have no shame. Whitmer says the body cam footage not available until the investigation's over. What is there left to investigate? I mean, what don't we know?
He pled not guilty.
Well,
so they're going to have to bring in the.
But the investigating should be done. I mean, we're either this is accurate or it's not. Man, the society is so rigged against regular people and in favor. I mean, the fact that judge is letting him drive an automobile, that is disgusting.
How about Donald Trump yesterday truthing out that too many non-working holidays are happening in America?
Agree with that.
He said it's costing our country billions of dollars to keep all these businesses closed. The workers don't want it either. Soon we'll end up having a holiday for every once working day of the year.
Yep.
It must change if we're going to make America great again.
I am with that 100%. Now, I took the day off yesterday. By the way, yesterday was awesome for me because got the kid up, got her to daycare, and then went back to sleep for 3.5 hours.
Did you?
It was awesome.
When it was raining in the morning?
I woke up at 10:30. I was like, I haven't done this since I was in my 20s. This is awesome.
Rob, I did the same thing.
This is awesome. Because on the weekend, you don't get to sleep in because whenever she gets up, I have to get up. So there is no sleep in. It's just a day is just a day.
Yeah.
And I was able to get her to daycare. And then I was like, I'm going back to bed. And it was the next thing I knew it was 10:30. I was like,
Good for you.
This is glorious. No, I'm with Trump on this. And I used to think this all the time when I owned a business, which is think about all the. No, I didn't have a bunch of employees. It was, sort of sole ownership type of thing. But I used to think about that all the time about people not doing commerce, whatever. Okay, I'm for Easter, one day at Thanksgiving, Christmas,
New Year's Day.
What sort of message are we sending society, though, by
starting off the year with the day off?
I've never really been a fan of New Year's Day, but I think the populace would revolt if we didn't give them New Year's Day off. So New Year's Day, I think there's got to be one for the veterans, Veterans Day or Memorial Day. And then...
Did you say 4th of July?
Yeah, you probably got to get 4th of July. That's the foundation of the country. That's 6. I think I'm okay with that. But none of this President's Day.
Labor Day?
No, Labor Day. What? We celebrate working by not working? What are we doing?
I look at it as you've labored all year, you get a day. You get a day off.
You know what's wild, though? Your husband had to work yesterday, didn't he?
He did. Isn't that something? So
state had to work?
So Juneteenth is a federal holiday.
That's right.
So all the federal workers were off. Some states honor it, some don't. Indiana state employees don't have the day off.
That's interesting.
But here's my counter argument to Donald Trump. He says too many non-working holidays in America. I say, you know what? Look at Congress.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
How many days off do they have? And then look at our state reps.
Very
That's like
fair.
a part-time gig,
Very
right?
fair.
So I think what we need is a day where government works and the rest don't.
I like it. I do
like
that.
Little role reversal.
Was there mail yesterday?
No.
There was not mail yesterday?
There was your FedEx and your...
Yeah, but not like the U.S.
Amazon.
Postal Service?
Correct.
Huh. No, I like that, Casey. I think that's good. For once, let's have the government go to work and the producers stay at home.
Right.
The old switcheroo.
A little switcheroo.
The old switcheroo.
We'll turn the tables.
So what are the ones we're axing out right now? We're axing out President's Day. We're taking Memorial Day or Veterans Day, one of the two. We're getting rid of that. We are keeping one day for all the veterans. We're getting rid of Martin Luther King Day. We're getting rid of Juneteenth. We're getting rid of Labor Day. I bet that's one of the Thanksgiving days. 6. We've added 6 days of productivity to the American workforce that I'm thinking of. Are there any other holidays that I'm not thinking of?
No, I think
that I'm saying. Yeah, I think I got them all. Is there maybe there's one or two that I'm missing, but I don't think so. Because like St. Patrick's Day is not a holiday, Valentine's Day not a holiday.
No, it's interesting though because
So that's
Donald Trump
6
supported Juneteenth in 2020, and now he's changing.
What? He was being a politician? He was speaking out of both sides of his butt cheeks? He was trying to make people happy so they'd vote for him? Surely you don't. No way, Casey.
So
does that make me a bad person that I support those 6 days I laid out? I said I think we should be back in and being productive.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm taking them as an employee. Don't get me wrong, and I will. And by the way, I am not a person who just takes a free holiday. And Case will back me up on this. I celebrate the thing, right? So yesterday I was very thankful for freedom and that all people have freedom.
Correct.
On Martin Luther King Day, I am thankful that Dr. King made the sacrifices he did to bring unity and harmony and bring racial divisions together. On President's Day, I remember some of our better presidents. On Memorial Day, I remember those who have passed. On Veterans Day, I remember all the I know the holidays. I am appreciative of the days off. I don't just freeload. I'm just saying, as a business owner, not as an employee, but as an employer, I would want these people working on those days.
Yeah. No, I get it. But as an employee, I enjoy having the day off.
No, I know. No, it's surprising. I was very thankful for it. By the way, we could have had the day off, too. Casey and I.
That's interesting because our corporate said that we get Thursday and Friday off.
Yeah, but they were not going to let us take 2 days. So they gave us a flex.
Right.
Those we can flex our day to another time because then we can't have 2 days of no. I mean, we're a ratings juggernaut here. They cannot go 2 days without
us.
I felt bad for the fan guys. They had to work yesterday.
Did they?
Well, because the Pacers are in the finals.
Oh,
Can't have no sports talk on the day the Pacers are in the finals.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. See, this is my thing at this point. I'm all about my ratings because it's the ultimate middle finger to those people that I hate down the street from me. And any day I'm not here, I know that's going to hurt my ratings. And my life is driven by every month being able to say scoreboard and show everybody how number one we are. So anything that interrupts, and this is my hobby, by the way, so it's not even like going to work for me. So that's why I don't mind coming to work. You do all the work anyway. So to me, anything that in any way interferes with my ability to extend both of my middle fingers towards 200 West Washington Street and say scoreboard, it makes me very nervous.
Well, I think that's why you should get on board with my plan where we need a day where government works and the rest don't.
There you go.
Yeah. So there were 70,000 people signed up for the Trump golden ticket? The golden Trump card.
The EB-5.
Yeah. The $5 million investment. So $350 billion committed so far. If you take those 70,000 people at $5 million each.
So we're just letting people buy their way into this country. I mean, that's what we're doing at this point. It's not about your merit. It's not about your willingness to assimilate. It's not about your willingness to appreciate what it means to be an American or celebrate that or move that forward. We're just going to have a bunch of rich people from foreign countries who then have the money to manipulate the society around them in this country. Boy, that sounds a bit risky to me, Case.
Well, they say the target audience is aimed at high net worth individuals, specifically entrepreneurs, engineers, and scientists.
You mean like the people who build data centers? You mean the people who suck all of our electricity and our natural resources? You mean people like that?
Yep, that's the people I mean.
Why don't we just let people into the country who want to be Americans and want to assimilate and
have them do it? Have them do it legally?
All right, what are we doing next? What's going on?
We're going to talk about millionaires.
Oh, speaking of which, there you go.
More money.
How exciting.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, will he or won't he? Donald Trump sets 2 weeks on the clock. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Pat Sullivan here. Have you heard about impact-resistant shingles? They're the smart choice for protecting your home from harsh weather. And here's something you may not know. Most insurance companies offer discounts on your premiums if you install them. At the Michaelis Corporation, we offer top-tier Category 3 and Category 4 impact-resistant shingles that stand up to the toughest storms. From hail to high winds, these shingles offer a 30-year warranty that stands by their durability. And when a weather event hits, don't worry. Let Michaelis perform a free inspection of your property to ensure everything is in top condition. We don't inspect the roof at ground level. Our experts will safely climb onto the roof to check for damages. Roof, gutter, siding, windows are all inspected for storm damage. Michaelis Corporation provides over 35 years of disaster restoration. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. 844-FIXED-INDY. That's 844-FIX-INDY.
Trump country is booming. We're building, hiring, and winning in Indiana because energy tax credits put America first, bringing manufacturing jobs home and creating a stronger middle class.
Jobs and factories will come roaring back into our country. More production at home will mean stronger competition and lower prices for consumers.
And America's comeback depends on American energy. Senator Young, keep what works. Don't repeal energy tax credits. Paid for by Built for America.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Big Joe here for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical.
With a B&W Premier Club membership, you'll stay ahead of breakdowns and costly repairs. Our members get routine maintenance, priority scheduling, and exclusive discounts, saving you money and keeping your family comfortable all season long. Visit bplusw.com or call 317-214-0108 for more information.
B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard dealer since 1961.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Save 20% off annuals, perennials, container shrubs, and balled and burlapped evergreens at Sundown Gardens, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com.
If you're pressed for time, the WIBC Mashup Podcast is your shortcut to the smartest, sharpest, and strangest moments on air. It's the best content from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Updated daily. Find the WIBC Mashup wherever you get your podcasts.
So you have a stat that once upon a time, Casey, would have really impressed me. Now, I'm not even sure if it's a big deal.
Not so much. So the U.S. minted 1,000 new millionaires each day last year. And this is according to the investment bank UBS.
Okay, so 1,000 people every single day. So 365,000 people became new millionaires in 2024.
Yes, we outpaced every other nation. And we had more than 379,000 people becoming U.S. dollar millionaires for the first time.
All right. So when I was a kid, if you'd have told me that, my mouth would have dropped open and hit the floor. However, as an adult and in the hyperinflation world we live in,
right,
I'm not sure being a millionaire is even a big deal anymore.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of people who you would look at and think they're not living in huts, right? But you would say, well, they're upper middle class that are probably worth $1 million or more. That's no big deal. I don't think that's really some staggering statistic anymore.
No, it's not. And, I was watching this thing. Elon Musk was at this AI startup camp, and he was giving a speech, and he was talking to the people in the audience, and he was talking about, having a startup. And he specifically a tech startup. And he said when he first started back in 95, the cost to have a new startup was about $350 million, which is a lot of money.
Sure.
But he's like, today, that's nothing. You need more like $1 billion for a startup. And that just kind of is another example of how much you need more zeros on the back of everything to afford anything.
It's very, and we've delved into this quite a bit over the years, it's getting harder and harder for regular people to elevate themselves in terms of their societal position. And unless you are investing at a level or involved in shenanigans at a level where you can get a desired result, it is becoming harder and harder to simply even tread water in terms of your financial position in society.
It is true. And, my daughter recently started working full time, and we had this big conversation with her the other day. She was very worried about her finances and, budgeting, and we were kind of walking her through it. And one of the things that the dude was trying to remind her of was she's doing pretty good, because when she started working, when she started working at 16 at DSW, the shoe store, making an hourly rate, we opened up a Roth for her. And of course, check with your own personal financial advisor. But that set her up on the path to success. And one of the things, most people are so financially illiterate that even if they were to make the money comparable to a millionaire, they don't even know how to invest it, or they don't know what to do with it. And that's a problem.
Yeah, and that's where it comes back to like the public education system. Like, I don't expect everybody to be Warren Buffett when they come out with a high school diploma.
Sure.
But you should have the basic tools to run a somewhat stable financial existence. And you're right. A lot of people are graduating college now. They're entering the world, and they have no clue on how, to manage a credit card, balancing budgets, prioritizing expenditures. It's just not, it's not something that exists in many people's orbit.
Well, you talk about it all the time when you worked at the golf course and you were taking some of the high schoolers or the younger people and showing them what everything means on their paycheck. Like, look, this is where your state government and your federal government take out taxes, and this is the space for, your local tax, everything. And Ron DeSantis talked a lot, like he needed his high schoolers to pass a financial literacy class before they got their diploma. That needs to be done nationwide.
Well, it's ridiculous that you get a high school diploma in this state. I mean, these were high school seniors that I was dealing with, and Medicare, like, look, when they looked at a pay stub, they had no idea what, these things were. And it's like, what are you doing every day in class? No offense to the teacher who teaches French, but for 99.9% of the populace, learning how taxes work, learning how money gets taken out of your check, learning where these programs are and what they're going to is way more important than some foreign language. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to in any way demean some of these other things that they teach in the school system. I'm sure the people who teach them are hardworking people, but that's pathetic. You have people graduating high school and they cannot explain what the back of a pay stub looks like.
Right. So on one side, it's not surprising that there's new millionaires because there's so many zeros added to everything. But on the other hand, with the just great schism of financial literacy we have in this country, it is a little surprising.
And it does also talk about the divide that we've discussed many times, which is how people at the top are elevating themselves far more rapidly than people in the middle. And in many cases, people in the middle are being pushed down. And you have now this greater and greater wealth divide in the country. And let's face it, the country thrives on a surging middle class. That is where the bread is buttered in any great society, is a surging middle class.
Yes, but it does seem like now that is disappearing, and you've got the top tier and the low tier, and the middle is being split.
Speaking of split, that's what we have to do. We're out of here.
We got to go. All right, Rob, thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend. We'll catch you back here on Monday. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis is everything that's right about Central Indiana. They've been locally family-owned for 50 years, helping our local economy remain strong by employing 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis is proud to do business right here in the great state of Indiana. They're a conservative-minded company that shares our values and stands by their products and services. You can call Garage Doors of Indianapolis today for service today. 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance.